The psychedelic jackets on the record album. Practically every one of the top 40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record album have their own hit.
This is a special question. We don't listen to strategy that you're watching us run the real thing. One of those natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it social media, some call it dance bread, and some people call it
Welcome to another edition of the Adam Dunn Show. I'm your host, Adam Dunn, and I'm back. I'm live. I'm here in the studio with MTI.
Oh, yeah.
And soon, coming into the studio in a little while, I'm going to have Tate from Key to Life, and he's bringing in a special guest, which I don't really know if I'm allowed to say or not, so we'll see. And we're going to have James calling in from Seeds Here Now with a little update on some of the winners from his 1K thousandth visit to his new forum. We're going to have Wolf Siegel, who's going to also talk about the forum, talk about all sorts of good stuff, because, you know, Wolf is the man right there. But first, coming in a few minutes, we're going to have a guy we haven't had on the show in so long. Where's that going on? What's that? What's that?
Sorry.
It's all right. We're having Mr. Jeremy Silva from Build a Soil, which is the logo behind me, even though it doesn't say Build a Soil, which is down low. Logos are meant to be known by the logo, not by the name. So get this logo into your brain. Ingrain it in your brain. And we're going to be doing an organic discussion, obviously, because that's his forte. And since it's been so long, I have really no idea which way the discussion. I think the few times we've got each other on the phone, he always has a lot to discuss. So he's a great guest, and I'm super proud to have him back on. And also as a sponsor, yeah, I think he's one of our oldest sponsors. I think he is actually like the OG of the OG when it comes to sponsors. So we'll be happy to have him in a few minutes. I just got back from a month away. It's been crazy. I left on the 26th without a ticket home, and I had to do a bunch of different stops. I was in Puerto Rico. I went to St. Croix. I did a quick stop in Colombia. So it's very it's happening everywhere. It's crazy. It's like one of those things where you just see the amount of activity that's going on. And, you know, whether it's Jamaica or now St. Croix just went medical. One of our former guests, Mr. Positive Nelson, who was on our show way back, at least I know it was when we were at the Green Lab studio, so it wasn't super duper far back, but it was far back enough.
Sure.
I think 2015, 16, something like that. And he was a senator who basically, put together and orchestrated the whole decriminalization there, which then opened up the now medical situation. So it's really cool because it's like when you go to places that have cannabis culture already, they've had it forever. And I mean, in St. Croix, it's a small island. It's 83 square miles. I learned a lot when I was there, obviously. So it's 83 square miles, but it has a very great agricultural area in the middle of the country. So as far as hemp and stuff, they're really thinking cannabis at this point because of medical. And but the hemp possibilities and the fact that they can actually, capitalize on all the 12-hour days forever and just be able to put them out, flower them out. But I saw a lot of gardens when I was there. Actually, I might be able to pull a few photos up in a bit. And I mean, we're talking small. Everything's, very guerrilla style growing, but
yeah.
The craziest part, okay, we do this thing, right? We're doing we'll get Jeremy on first. Yo. Is that Mr. Silva himself or crazy guest?
No, it's James Bean.
Oh, it's James Bean already. Damn.
Yeah, well, I was just making sure my thing worked, so I thought I would just call and harass you, and accidentally just called you, so my bad.
That's okay. We're going to have you on, and we're going to have Wolfie on in a little bit. He just texted me 2 seconds ago, so I thought you guys were all, like, coming in on me now. When it's like, what?
No.
Don't you get? So no, I'm gonna have Jeremy on, and then I'm gonna do my shout outs, and then I was gonna have you, because you're the last shout out, so it always works out well. Then have you roll in, and then so stay listening.
Somebody has to stay tuned to see who we're going to add. It'll be one of my breeders with some special information. So stay tuned.
Exactly. Stay tuned for the James Bean Man on the Scene report, right?
Forum report, yep.
Cool. All right.
Talk to you soon.
Bye. Okay, so Jeremy is, let's see. He says any way to Skype with his mic. So he could Skype in, right?
Yeah, he can just hit us up.
Adam Dunn Show.
Adam Dunn Show.
Okay, cool. That's let me hit him up with that, because you're good with that, right? You're ready with that? It's not going to screw you up?
I'm ready to roll.
Sure. Let me see. Adam Dunn Show. There you go. Bam. But anyway, I was just like, I don't even know, where the fuck was I? The best story in the world, right? So anyway, I'm standing at the bar, at my friend Alfie's bar, and we just finished the thing, and we had we did a sort of a town meeting vibe. It was just my friend's club, maybe 150 people, but they were all there to talk about growing, and it was like a growers forum, basically, is how it was put together. So I go to the bar, and the guy hands me a bud, and he's like, and I smelled it. It was actually really nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice, but it was like very sweet, but in a good way, and it had like a nice funk to it. Oh, yeah, it smells really good. And I said, what is that? He goes, oh, it's Stinky Pinky. And I was like, really? Cool. That's something I put out years ago. And then he's like, looked at me all crazy, huh? And it was one of those realization moments where, yeah, it was like, then at that point on, everybody, because it's literally the number one strain on the island.
Are you serious?
So I was like, this is hilarious. And I remember Alfie telling me this.
That's crazy.
I remember Alfie telling me this a long time ago, and I didn't really, but kind of jarred the memory, and I was like, oh, wow, it really is. So it was, and in the few gardens that I went to, the good part about it is they definitely have the real thing, because it's classic, it throws pink pistils, right? So it's pretty easy to spot, and that's their whole thing, is that they always know if it's real, because they know the hairs, of course, and it's on top of that, it's good weed, but it doesn't yield that much, and it never did. So of course, it's not really about yield, because it has to be good, because people actually smoke weed there. like there's no messing around.
Sure.
Literally no messing around.
Really?
Here we go.
There we go. There's Jeremy.
We'll talk more St. Croix after. Okay. This is it. Magic. We've made it happen.
All right. We made it happen.
Excellent.
All right. Welcome back. It's been a while, my friend.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been so long.
Yeah, I know. We're always literally missing each other by whatever seconds and days. Even at the show, you were at the exact same spot you were last year, and if I had half a brain, I would have just gone right back to that spot. But I literally did not go to that spot during the whole show, and then I was like, damn it, he was there. And I was like, yeah, maybe because you didn't actually walk around half the time, because I was really busy doing the moderating.
Dude, I know how it is. I was so overwhelmed with. And when you start, you're thinking, man, a couple days, that's a long time. And then pretty quickly, the event's over, and you've barely left your designated spot. I didn't get to see anything at the last one, so.
That is literally what happens to me every time.
Right on, man.
So I think the last time we talked, you were going to come on the show because you were on this side of the mountains there, and you had a lot to talk about then. So I'm imagining by now you must be busting at the seams with all sorts of new stuff and things. Tell us what's going on in the Build a Soil world and just in your immediate sort of zone right now.
Yeah, well, you kind of hit on a few of the things business-wise. As you traveled around, you see a lot of things happening everywhere, and I really think that's obviously something we've noticed. We started off as a small business from my house and started catering, to very specific growers, and then eventually this started to roll into something that was so much larger than I ever anticipated, and so many more people are wanting to take a lot of the cannabis practices, and what I thought was just specific to cannabis, turns out everyone wants to do organic food production and organic hemp production and medicinal cannabis, recreational cannabis. And as these laws change and as new policies in different countries are put in place, it just seems like it's this flowering of just opportunity. And what I'm trying to figure out is where CBD really fits in there. Like, is it tulip mania, or is this going to be here to stay? And
it's a little of both, I think, because of the fact that, you know, we know it works when it's applied correctly, but it's not being applied correctly. And that's the problem.
Yeah, and I believe
across the board.
THC, you know, that I don't like isolating just one of the compounds, and
that's pretty much where it's at. I mean, that is literally what's happened. Is people have pushed it to the end as fast as they can without ever like watching what they're looking like. Just fuck it, make it right to the 99. I want to see 99.99, or I'm not happy. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh really? Well, that's. You know,
oh man. Well, and then on a personal level, I was out there on the Front Range because my girlfriend at the time was going through major hip surgery, and she went through it successfully. And you can follow a little bit on their story. But why I said girlfriend at the time is because we just recently got engaged, and she's actually here with me.
Oh,
so,
I was just going to say it's kind of a weird. Cool. It is a weird way to start a sentence. I was like, girlfriend at the time, and then now I've named.
So now she's my fiance.
Oh,
she said yes. So
fantastic.
Congratulations!
She's with me.
Sweet. She can jump on the mic anytime if she wants. Also.
How are you?
So I'm sure she's a part. I'm sure she's obviously, if you guys are getting married, fully into what you're doing.
Yeah, man, it's incredible. Obviously, you know, we connect on a few different areas because we want to live the rest of our lives together. But from the farming and gardening side, she has worked. She's got a badge, and that was after we met. So we had a similar passion, and she's grown on the professional level. Mm-hmm. And then taking some of those skills, we're actually setting up a greenhouse, and we're going to be running a little farm together.
Oh, nice.
And it's right next to our retail store. And so it'll be a bit of a demonstration center, but we're going to be growing vegetables.
It's like the Truman Show of cannabis you guys are going to be like.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool.
You're going to be like, what's going on? You have cameras set up everywhere. It's going to be weird.
Yeah, maybe, but at least you can come down here. And it's just when you want to buy a greenhouse, no matter what you're doing, it's like this weird world that you're trying to compare online. And I love people to be able to actually see something.
Well, yeah, it's weird too, right? Isn't it like and also never seeing, because if you never see plants in a thing, it doesn't make sense, right? And it's like sometimes you'll be standing in a room like decked out, looking sweet, you know, looking at how high tech it is or whatever, but until it has plants in it, it's nothing. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything to me at that point. It does. I know. Oh, yeah, it looks great, whatever. But once you put plants in, it's like, oh wow, this has changed.
Yeah, then it's alive. Same with any house, you know. It's got to have something.
Changed 100% at that point.
Yeah, and then of course, you know, there's so much that we're going to learn when we set up that farm and go through the challenges that so many of our hemp farmers and small scale vegetable farmers, anybody that's got a hoop houses or greenhouses set up. They have a unique set of challenges, and I want to understand them better so that we can help. And Gwen and I are pretty excited about having, the food for ourselves as well as the local community. And then beyond that, where we plan on using a lot of the new stuff that I hope to share a little bit of it with you guys today. There's just, like you said, there's so much to talk about. But some of the new things that we've been doing over the last couple of years, it's been a while since we've really caught up. And it all is in the same vein as what Build a Soil has always done. I just like to think that we're getting better every year as we learn more. And so I'd like to pick your brain a little bit, see what you've been up to. I know that last we spoke on the phone, you were working in the hemp industry a little bit too, and I know that that's been on your plate.
Yeah, well, I've been doing a lot of consulting, obviously, but at the same time and the thing is, everybody's on the same focus, so I just obviously have to go where needed, and it's all been, it's literally been exactly what, like you said, it's all been CBD, it's been isolate, it's all the things that we're not really about, but at the same time, you got to stay up with what's going on. You can't just and
it's going to help the soil, right? Like, let's say this thing goes away, and there's greenhouses built, and there's organic inputs put in, and organic matter raised, and plants grown. Like, it's good in that general sense, and I
do like with the hemp that the people are not. I mean, it's for the most part, people are just not trying to push too hard, and people are thinking organic in general because that's how you think of when you think of large scale farming. If you're not coming in completely, like in a farm that's already fully heavy pesticide and heavy grown, but in general, it's kind of seems like it's like I've seen more gardens than not that have actually trying to come at it as organically as possible.
Yeah, and it makes sense because you think about these flowers and the level of testing, and you're going to be processing it, and so. It's not a standardized crop with a written fertilizer protocol. And so just because of that, people start asking questions. And a lot of times they come to find out that, wow, if I don't want moldy flowers and if I want to actually produce a crop, it becomes a lot more like a high cash crop that's actually worth the micronutrients, the biology, all of these things that organics really brings to the table to succeed better financially. They're all on the table now because at least this crop has the financial ability to pay for those things, where tell a corn farmer, some of these ideas and they're already losing money on every bushel. They don't want to learn any new skills. So I think it could be really good. But I was joking the other day with my friends. It's like, man, none of us are sitting here smoking CBD flower or trying to find new ways to get CBD on our skin, in our body, in our hair. Like, I don't care at all because the plant that I consume has a little bit of CBD in it, and I'm getting that well-rounded, just by being a home grower.
My biggest problem with it is that it's gotten to that carpetbagger, like, oh no, like everywhere I go I see CBD, and it's never with the right message, and it's never with the right ingredient list, and it's like you look and you're just like, okay, this is definitely some bogus shit right here, and the occasional time when you see something good, it's kind of muddied by all the overhyped kind of stuff. And it's the same, everyone has a salve and everyone has a tincture and everybody has a lip balm and everybody has, so you're like, okay, this is kind of cookie cutter, like just throw a new label on it, generic, not caring if it works or not. And really it comes down to, we all know entourage effect and we all understand the balance and stuff. And, if it's great if you could get we lost Jeremy? Because of the computer? Or? So we lost everybody or no?
No.
Oh, all right. So, Jeremy, come back. Okay. Well, that's good. At least the show didn't get completely delayed. Jeremy. It's always, like I said, it's always funny. Oh, I talked to Jeremy this morning, and it was like I was telling him how, when you talk to somebody and you never see them, you just talk. You get this image in your mind, of course. And my other friend, Jeremy, I just used his image in my mind because they almost had the same voice.
Yeah.
And so I always felt like I was talking to my other friend, Jeremy, which is funny. But then I never knew what he looked like. And then when I finally saw him, I was like, well, you're definitely not like skinny with red hair. So that's not happening. You know what I mean? It was like totally different person.
Right.
Still can't get out of my head, though. Like, it's still, when I'm talking to him, I'm like, it's hard. I go back and forth between the imaginary version.
Right. We could do shouts real quick.
Yeah, well.
If you want to do that while I'm getting reconnected here. Do you want to do that?
I can do his. No, go ahead. Yeah, well, let's see how long it takes. Let's see how long it takes.
It's rebooting right now, and I'll just start it up.
Well, I could start, or I could tell some stories.
Yeah, tell us some
It's probably
stories.
easier because I can always stop a story.
You were telling us something right when he called.
Oh, about St. Croix.
Yeah.
See, I do remember that. I'm not high enough yet. But I was just I told about Stinky Pinky story, which was really quite funny.
Yeah.
But also just the future of that island is really interesting because the people that, like I said, Positive Nelson, who was a guest on the show, that already tells you he's a cool guy, right?
Right.
He also did, which is even funnier, if you look up the Super Bowl, they were supposed to do a CBD ad, and they didn't do it because they're a bunch of pussies.
Right.
And then he did his own because it was on the same network.
Oh.
And so he did it as like the only network to show a CBD thing. It wasn't the CBD thing, but it was a CBD thing. And he gave a good message during the Super Bowl in St. Croix, which is pretty dope. So anyway, positive. So going from the Adam Dunn show to the Super Bowl, that's pretty good. It's a good jump.
Pretty good, man. That's pretty good.
It's a great jump. But anyway, so that just tells you right away that if that's the guy in charge of the Department of Ag, Adam Dunn show is going to have some influence in there.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be all listening to the show now. So everybody's going to be like, St. Croix is the spot. I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
If they have good marijuana laws and they let people come with their cards, which they're going to do, obviously.
Oh, cool.
Then, I said marijuana, can you believe it? Cannabis laws.
Right.
With cannabis cards. That's the first thing I'm going to make sure they don't use. Because it's like, come on, guys.
No, that's totally cool.
I think
that's
they called it that. I gotta get that out. Anyway, then, but it's funny because when we did the actual, okay, he's calling in the number now.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's not up yet. As soon as it's up, it'll be gravy. I can even just call him back as soon as we.
Yeah. Well, it's our fault. Don't tell him.
Yeah, yeah,
Boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, tell them it happened on our end.
Say rebooting. Reboot. No, but they're going to have like if you can use your cards there, that's such a nice deal because
Totally.
you got exactly what you always wanted,
Mm-hmm.
which is, when you land in any fucking tropical place, as you're landing and you get just low enough that you can actually kind of make out a plant. If you're anywhere near a plant, you're just like, is that weed, is that weed, is that weed, is that weed? It's just automatic. You can't help it. It's like just the fucking automatic nature of stoners and growers. You're like, everything's a fucking grow everywhere. You go. But then the funny part was that I knew where a bunch were, and on the way out, I was like, can I see it? Oh, fuck. So,
Right.
yeah, it was funny. Not that I would call them out or anything, but just knowing, like, semi-location. I didn't have enough time there. I was only there for a couple of days.
Sure.
Just getting my bearings at that point. But it's only, like I said, go there a few times. I'll have it all dialed in. I'm sure there must be a couple that. But apparently the flight path is, they're all smart enough to
Sure.
stay out of the flight path, of course.
Of course.
Anyway,
All right.
can't give away too much.
We're almost there.
But it was good fun doing that, and also in the Puerto Rico situation. That's all just consulting for a couple people there, so that's always nice because that's just who wouldn't want to consult Puerto Rico? Who wouldn't want to consult St. Croix? It's like no brainer. You're like, of course I'll be there, and it was only a 23-minute flight. Can you believe it?
Wow.
I was like, yes, it was less than going from my house
That's
to here.
crazy.
Here it's 24 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
I said that. It was like about the same as driving to the studio. Because the plane goes up, and then you're like, oh, yeah, there it is. We pull it. So it's perfect synchronicity there. Okay, so we must be rebooted now.
Really close.
We're so close. All right. Jeremy, if you're listening, which you can now. Now he won't get the feedback. He can actually listen.
Oh.
It is. You tell me when. Should I text him now? Because then I can give him the...
Give me two. I'm just waiting for it
Oh
to
my
fire up.
God!
now,
Do we need a
that's
new
all.
computer? We need a new computer so bad
Yes.
that if somebody would come through, like a sponsor or a potential sponsor, not even a real sponsor, potential sponsor. Well, if the real sponsors want to step up, that's also cool. But,
Sure.
But if a new potential sponsor out there, I don't know who they could be. Magically,
Magic
maybe there's a
sponsor.
magic sponsor out there that would want to get like MTI new computer, which is like $3,500.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to give them a super deal. This is a good way for me to pander on my own show.
There you
I'm
go.
literally using my own show to pander to people for free equipment for you. But we need one so bad. Come on, look at it. It's like collapsing in front of us. This is pathetic.
Yep.
Oh my God. Well, I would expect nothing less from the Adam Dunn Show.
Of course.
That's why I don't even do shout outs.
I'm glad it didn't happen last week like this. Otherwise, it'd be me scrambling.
Oh my God, how did it not happen?
Yeah, I know, right?
That is amazing. So you don't even know how much technology went into last week's show.
Oh, yeah?
Or wasn't it? I mean,
Oh,
was it? Or
yeah,
2
I
weeks
mean-
ago show. 2 weeks ago show.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 weeks
Right.
ago, if you go back to the pre-show, I'd say that was the most technologically advanced show we ever did, just because I was a floating head, right? The whole show.
Oh, right. That's
And-
right.
Right?
Yeah.
With hands. I was floating hands, floating head.
Right. In the seed.
In the seed. I
was
was
pretty
like
cool.
dancing seed thing. Even I didn't get it until later, and then I was like, wait a minute. It's like I'm a giant seed with a thing. Like,
That was great.
Because I wasn't really paying attention to
Sure.
my own show,
Okay. We're almost there.
as I don't expect anybody to.
Yep.
But a couple of them out there are. It's amazing. Uh-oh, we have a
I think
knock on the
someone's
door.
at the door. Yeah.
See
let me
that?
grab
The timing couldn't have been better. No, that was just yeah. Was that a ghost? Oh, come on, Travis. Where are you?
Yeah, right?
Is Travis here?
No, he took off.
Oh my God, Travis is a ghost lover. By the
Okay,
way,
here we
right? The studio guy, the guy who owns the studio from Beatworks. I wouldn't say ghost lover because I don't think you're allowed to do that. Is that impossible? Can you do that? Can you?
Well, you know.
make love to a ghost. I think a ghost can make love to you probably because you can make that up in your brain.
All right.
I don't know
We're
if you can
calling
make-
Jeremy right now.
Okay, we're calling Jeremy back. Dun, 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 dun,
Hey, are we back?
We are back. Sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty.
yeah, and we had a ghost. Oh, you have to turn your thing down now.
All right,
you're
cool.
Not, you're not allowed
Got
to
the
hear.
volume off on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to listen
Chat
to the show.
kind of up.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
try
fine.
and look at the chat, but I get zoned out when I'm talking. So
Hey, man, that's cool.
Don't worry about the chat.
If there's any kind of question, I'll try and direct
Yeah,
it to you guys.
We'll take care of that. We'll take care of that. You can just chat. yourself to me. How's that? So we were at everything blowing up everywhere. Your place out of control. Because it's funny too. When we first started, exactly when. Okay, so what year did you start? Let's start with that because I was trying to figure out if you were my oldest sponsor because I think you are like my number one oldest sponsor, pretty much, aren't you?
I'm not sure. I think it was, God, it was like I was in my house.
Exactly.
And I remember thinking, how am I going to do this? But this is a good opportunity for me. And Mitch was there.
Yeah. So that's literally definitely like, what, you lost him? How
Yeah,
come?
my computer keeps fucking up.
What is going on?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe
It must be the new Skype update that's making my thing go crazy.
So he can call in on a regular call or it has to go through Skype? Oh, no, it has to go through Skype.
It has to go through Skype. Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
The only other way I can think is maybe just call on my phone or something.
And then what?
And then just put it close by you guys. Then he can hear you.
Or he calls on my phone, you mean like that? What?
Yeah, and I
But
can
then
give you an aux cable.
Oh no, you can call your phone if you want to do that and just put it over to, but then what, people can't hear him then?
We'll have to put it close to you so that
So I can hear him.
Yeah, or no. He'll come through here. But the mic is the
Oh,
phone.
the mic is the phone, I got you. So who's got a better mic, you or me?
I have probably you because you have an iPhone, but
Oh, but you can't use the plug, so it doesn't matter. No aux cable.
oh, you don't
So
have.
there you go. See, Apple, they had a chance to be on the Adam Dunn Show. They failed. So we are going old school. Jeremy, we're going to the roots of Adam Dunn Show. We just talked about when he started. When he started, he was in his bedroom of his house, probably, like I said, figuring it out. We were scrambling like we are right now to make a show work. And I have to text Tate the address, and we have to get him on the phone there. It's mayhem in the spot here.
I can just pull him up on Skype here too. That'll be fine.
Okay. And so he has to hear me through that. So basically,
I'll put it over there.
yeah. How far is your cable? Cable's good.
You got a good cable.
So how is it? So I'm gonna have to talk in between them like this, something like that. Yeah, we'll make it work. The Adam Dunn Show never stops. What now? It doesn't. What? Yeah, you can reboot that later. We'll try to figure it out. But that is a sure sign from God that we need a damn computer for you. Because now we're going on. You can tell our next story, which is we're going on tour, European vacation with MTI, KTI, CC, and Adam, going back to Europe. Not only are we doing Barcelona ADSI, it is official. We are going to be in Amsterdam for a bit too, so we're going to be doing shows from all those spots. We're going to have to get our shit together though, because if we can't even do a show in Denver,
Well, yeah, it wasn't doing this, and then that new update, and then all of a
fucking
sudden, blue
updates.
screen of death.
Updates are disaster. It was better before, and then they tried to update it, and they wouldn't let us do multiple people.
Right.
And now it doesn't even let you do one person on a phone. So there you go. That's what updates are all about. Skype is not doing good on our show. So first time ever in Europe for MTI, too.
Yeah, it'll be my first time across the pond, for sure.
And I don't even know about KTI. KTI's been there. He's been to London and everything. He's been everywhere. So he'll be old school. You'll be like Country Mouse. That's what we called it. So you ready to go? You ready to do it?
What?
Europe, dude.
Oh.
Are you going to be like Country Mouse, all just jerking your head around, looking at everything, all, what's going on?
Yeah, for sure.
These people are weird. What are they saying? No, it's fun. It is funny to travel. I had my buddy Derek Cummings, who I actually wanted to get on the show today. That's where I think we coined the phrase Country Mouse, because he was walking around Amsterdam like, holy shit, dude, what is going on here? Because he had, he's a guy from Colorado. So he's from Windsor, Colorado. So he kind of like was definitely blown away. I have to get an address. So because I'm trying to do too many things here.
Okay, I'm gonna log into the Adam Dunn Show here.
Okay, so we're gonna do. As I'm telling him, we're going old school. So get ready. You got it going on or what?
I'm almost there.
Almost. Jeez, I'm sorry to pressure you, MT.
No,
I know.
you're good.
I know it's a lot of pressure. It's like we literally make a podcast like going to the moon or something. We have to like use duct tape and coming back and trying to keep it all going. I don't know how we do it, but that's what we're all about. Being the worst production. That's the value for for anybody, right? Just ask Caesar now. We have to give them a shout out on that. So I guess it's time to do a dab. Make some noise, right? I can actually make some noise. There ain't no gas. Ain't no nothing. Can turn my mic down. Turn my mic down.
Yep. Okay. I'm about to.
All right, you there?
Yeah, can you hear us?
All right, I can hear you.
Cool.
Actually, you're taking a dab and you're pretty far away from the phone, and I can hear you very well.
Very nice.
So, Jeremy, I think we were in your bedroom.
I think I was leaving off just saying, I'm grateful for this opportunity because we're learning a lot right now. Obviously with medical and recreational, there was some systematized larger scale operations, but when you see what these hemp growers are doing, at least like the nerd in you that wants to see a million plants grown gets to see some of that stuff happening right now, and it's pretty cool.
I'm totally with you on that. It's like all our wishes are coming true as far as rooms and rooms and rooms, and then and miles. When I first moved to Colorado, my first dream was can't wait to see a field of hemp. Be driving in a car like you're going past a cornfield. And just going and going and going. Happening, you're in places that you can actually
Yep.
see
And
that.
it's causing us to step up our game too, because we're asking questions that we didn't really ask before. Obviously, we grow in a lot smaller scale, and that's a lot of what we teach.
Mm-hmm.
But during the last 5-6 years, we worked with a lot of facilities and growers and had a million conversations with consultants and people in every facet of the industry. And so organics has obviously found its way, and there's people doing no-till on all sorts of different scales. So we've learned a lot from that, but learning how well these plants grow in native soil, and then looking for ingredients that are organic, that'll go through drip lines, that are going to foliar spray and are still cost effective on extremely large scale, has only helped us on the other side of the coin. Once we find these products and can bring them in, now package them in smaller amounts,
Mm-hmm.
and make sure that we can translate some of what we're learning. And so it's been actually pretty fun. Without that, I probably wouldn't have found a lot of these different products that we're playing with now.
Yeah, to me, it blows my mind because I see farms and I look at, obviously you can do it, but then you start to look at like, damn, like there's some fucking challenges here, like I tip my hat to people like you who actually take the challenge and to make it happen, because it's one of those daunting tasks, because people are asking a lot of people, and I get requests that are just ridiculous, where I'm just like, no, I'm not going to try to do 100,000 acres anywhere that, it's like, it's too much right now. You got to work within your parameters. You got to be understanding that when someone says 100 hectares or 27 hectares of greenhouse, or, numbers that they think is to them like just normal, it's never been done. Like those are things that are like, at least not in my world, they've never been done. Maybe somebody out there pulled off a 27 hectare greenhouse, back in the day, but for the most part on a commercial scale, I've never seen that, so to me, it doesn't exist, and it's, so it's kind of, especially in the hemp game, people are going ridiculous. Like the numbers I hear are just astronomical sometimes, and you're like, you know, there's as much bullshit out there as you can imagine, and it'll happen really soon. But I don't think people realize when they say 100,000 acres, or but
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
oh, sorry. Well, I'm talking on the other mic. Am I okay here?
Yep.
Okay, we're better. All right, good.
Yep. Well,
So
I guess if there's anything you'd like to talk about, I can definitely do that. Otherwise, we can just talk about what's new.
well, we could talk about what's new. I mean, one of the things that you touched on there, and I was just sort of alluding to, as far as tipping my hat off to, how do you actually work on an organic level and able to use drip lines and things like that? Because that's one of the things. I mean, it's always been a problem. So you have tried and true methods, and you have
Yep. No, we've been learning a lot about that, and it's kind of serendipitous that you bring that up, because one of the people that you've had on your show and I connected to years back, never thought. Well, actually, I did think I'd work with him, but I never knew when or how. Joe. So Canopoo.
Oh, Canopoo, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's
you
crazy.
guys-
He's in my backyard now, and they just
Nice.
absolutely crushed it. They did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was a lot of the challenges, was using these drip lines, and they came up with a lot of solutions, and they've been able to help other people do that.
Yep.
And then this year we've come across a few new products, and we've been looking. And so beyond just the standards, right, like liquid fish and all the other stuff that people will use, we will use soil testing and water testing and pairing those together. And then we have a number of water-soluble products that are organic, and they're highly micronized. They go through, you can pour it through like the 70 micron bag, 73 or whatever, no problem. I've got 150 mesh, 120 mesh. It goes through that. And they're amino chelated, and they have the company that makes it has a wide range of NPK and calcium and trace minerals. And so now that allows us to formulate against the soil test a little better of a cost-effective routine, and then put it right through the drip tape without causing any clogs. And so, that's a game changer. It makes it so that you can stay organic, and then you can still feed to the limiting factor through the drip tape, as opposed to having to put it all in the soil.
Sure.
And really look at a lot of labor. And I would say it's more like a supplement, meaning you really can do almost everything with it, but I feel like you still need a main course, and that would be looking at amending the soil a little bit, or maybe treating it the year before with cover crop. But the micronized products that actually go through the drip tape are definitely going to be a game changer this year. And we just put all of them available on the website at buildasoil.com, and they're super cost effective. We're talking $4, $5, $6 a pound, and you need like a pound or two an acre through the drip tape, and you can formulate it with a few different products. So,
So really,
I think that's really where a lot of us are going to be heading. And, there's so many manufacturers that are making amino chelates that it's definitely where organics is getting an advantage right now. Like, one of the products they offer is a 222. So it's got 20 available phosphorus. And I was a little skeptical, to be honest. So I sent it out to the lab, and I got the results back a couple days ago, and it was slightly better than promised. And it goes through the drip tape. And so out here, it's very alkaline. And we have some issues with absorption of some key factors that we're always going to, be looking to supplement. So,
gotcha. Because I think that's again, like the stuff that people really need to have access to be able to. Because again, once you get into anything scale, the pennies make fucking differences. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, people are like, oh my god, like it just saved them $100,000. You know what I mean? Because they were actually trying to do ridiculous numbers right now. And not to say, that it's always effective to work that way, but in general, when anything's small, the costs are important. But we've had small grow rooms where we've dumped so much money into crops because they were worth so much more money at one point.
Yeah, no, it's true. When you start scaling things out across 1 million plants or across thousands of acres, a penny makes a big difference. And so you can see the economies of scale at play. And there's also the uncertainty of the market. Nobody wants to spend more money than they have to across that much land. And then that translation to the home gardener now we have these same products that are cost effective per pound. And we can use those on 4 plants for pennies, as opposed to having to use it on acres. And then we're still working on quality products that are just for the home gardener. Like we've got a really good buddy of mine, and him and his wife just down the street, my buddy Alex, he owns a company called Colorado Worm Company, Cowoco for short. And their castings, they screen them when the customer orders them. And so they come full of beneficial predators and worms and cocoons. And so when we're able to offer something like that, we've seen customer response say a lot less pest pressure, phenomenal results in flower. And that's like down the street. So the whole build a soil model, when we were talking years ago, was like, man, imagine if we can get our friends that are growers to try and find a way to produce product without freighting it in from everywhere and then distribute that. And now we've got, Miles. I'm not sure if you guys know him on the forums, Avinash Miles. He's out here in Paonia. He makes all of our ferments. And then we're starting the little veggie farm. Like, it's starting to happen. And it's crazy, the power of just thinking the law of attraction, whatever you want to call it, but putting these dreams out there. And now this opportunity is starting to make it all come together for so many people as we all want to grow. And now everybody can do this for themselves, depending on which state you live in.
Yeah, which states have you seen the biggest numbers of people like getting on board quicker? Like as far as like the new ones, like Oklahoma and those guys, and in the hemp game mostly.
Oklahoma is probably the biggest, fastest that I've seen that came out of like nowhere. Obviously, we've been tracking a little bit of what's going on, trying to prepare for who might be placing orders. But when Oklahoma really just started placing phone calls and we heard about how many licenses and what's going to be going on, it just seemed like it was the new green rush for sure. And orders typically, up the West Coast and then Michigan and then the East Coast. And then you get some going pretty much everywhere else. But you can kind of highlight on the map wherever there's a huge hydroponic store that's conglomerating right now. That's pretty much where the action's at. And there's been a lot of change ups in the industry right now behind the scenes for these hydro stores. And I think that Build a Soil products and that particular model has more opportunity than ever before because of the shakeup with all the distributors and the desire to get maybe more agricultural products to the growers. So we'll see.
Yeah, I heard of there's going to be a Green Grow Expo in Oklahoma. I think it's like 2 days from now or something like that. Or maybe tomorrow even. Let's see, it's the 2nd and 3rd. Yeah, so it's today. It's right now.
There's so many expos.
And so Seeds Are Now are there. I know they're in booth E13. I've heard so. Check them out if you're in the area. So it's great because you see seeds now being distributed, and every time I see people put seeds anywhere, I realize, all right, this shit's just changed the game. You know what I mean? As far as quality in that area, and then through shows like this and technology and just people being able to have access to the right, things that we never had before. Like information has changed so much with cannabis where you used to have to seek it out, and now it's just bombarding you, you know what I mean? But it's getting the same. For me, it's about getting the right information out and the right people, and that's why I love having you on, because I always feel like I get updated with the newest stuff. And let's kind of move towards that, because since we started late and I'm lame and everybody's all starting to stack up, let's try to cover as many bases as we can with you, and I'll get you back on when you can find a background and I can get my mic together and my computer updated. We'll get you back on for a nice, super long Jeremy Silva episode. But what's going on right now? Just like let's make the best of our zones now. What's your latest products that kind of hit the mark, like, or just changes in the way you guys are doing stuff?
Right now, Build a Soil?
Yeah.
Yeah, so besides that local vermicompost product from Colorado Worm Company, a good friend of mine that works here, AJ, he's got a company growing organic, and him and his wife hand make a bokashi product, and that's gotten like phenomenal reviews, taken off really well for him. And a lot of the customers that have been using that vermicompost and that bokashi, and then Miles ferments, it seems like all the stuff made with a lot of love, with a lot of intent. Sure. There's been some of our most popular products lately. And then aside from that, like on an opposite note, we've been getting a lot of people that have been using soil testing and starting to consider, less is more and balancing instead of just throwing every organic thing they have at it. Mm-hmm. More customers looking at trace mineral balancing and working with GrowRoo through our services to get their soil tested, water tested. So a lot more people getting interest in that. And so consequently, We've changed some of our soil recipes to make sure that there's, a less of a chance of sodium or potassium excess, a lot more balance and calcium availability. So if people have questions about that, we've changed so much over the last few years working with soil testing. And then because of that, we've also released this Build a Bloom product, and we're going to have a new label for that. And that's been really helping, like we said, with that available phosphorus without going to like a guano or a bone meal or having to go to something that might be off the list for a lot of organic growers. And so combining the soil testing, the new availability of those amino products, and then some of these locally made products, we've had customers pulling better yields, having more consistent runs than ever before. Like when we started the company, it was just a lot of copy and paste formulas from the forums that we'd all been sharing together.
Right.
And Build a Soil has kind of evolved over the years with the community that's learning about all these same things right now. So I feel like you've probably heard a lot about it too. More people soil testing. I mean, a lot of these same things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think in general, I mean, the idea that testing all around, having to be tested, once you're like, before it didn't really matter, and we didn't realize maybe the wastage that we were doing, and or the part that we're especially when you start realizing like at certain times, if you just hit them at the right time, they actually respond better than if you think it's like it guarantees they need them, so you put it in right away. And or the other problem where you put them in late and they don't really affect it. You know what I mean? So you have to be it's really timing a lot of times with growing. It's like cooking.
Yep.
It's like cooking. I mean, when you're cooking, you can know all the ingredients, just have to fucking know how to put them in place at the right time. You know what I mean? And be able to activate things when they need it. So it's. I mean, for me, I just feel like teas feel like this gives you the most like. It's almost like you're giving your dog a treat or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you give them you give them that, and hopefully you've worked most of it, and then you get to a few other products along the way. What is your take on, as far as like the future of like pricing with differences with finished product and people actually appreciating organic like they appreciate organic when they pay more for food? Because I feel like it's still hard to get people to figure that out. You know what I mean? They're very price fixated, which kind of sucks in our game.
Yeah, no, it is going to be interesting to watch that unfold. Like for my personal food, I feel like it's so convoluted. Like I eat, for the most part, only organic. That's why we want to start the vegetable farm, and we're going to. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it's the lifestyle. My fiance is really active. I do jujitsu 4 or 5 times a week, and you start to notice that if your diet's messed up, it's a big problem. And you really focus on what you consume, and not everybody has that level of requirement where they, you go for a couple weeks just kind of living a busy life. You've got so much going on. It's super easy to grab fast food, and then all of a sudden you don't notice how much it's affecting you. And so the same thing I think with herb, like if it's so easily to access and you've never really grown it before, it's hard to consider the difference between a plant. But as soon as you cultivate it and you realize what you can put on this plant, all the diseases and pests and molds and problems that come with that, and then you realize you're inhaling it, I can't imagine not wanting to grow your own and not wanting to pay a premium for really quality flower, or at least barter with your buddies and have that whole system in place, because the difference in good flower versus just run-of-the-mill everywhere flower is so night and day. I really think that if you've got the goods, and it's fire, and it just is loud, reeks through the bag, it's going to be like it always has been. It's going to command a premium. Now, what a premium means, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the problem right there.
That's the problem, is that's going to be a whole nother level. And
our premium, they keep moving the goalposts.
Like, let's say that's totally legal everywhere, but it's still limited to a specific plant count, and you have to go to black market to find the quality you want, then it's going to be whatever your homies are doing. And a lot of times that's cheaper than ever. Yeah. But if you want to actually be able to flip it, and on the open market, on wholesale, and like rec, we're seeing lower pound cost than ever. But I will tell you, the people that are creating good relationships, have a premium product that's consistent, they're commanding more than double the wholesale market, and they're sold out. And so I feel like in any industry, we're going to see that that difference, but it's not going to be 10 times the norm. So if wholesale is, $500 to $1,000, then you might be really happy with $1,500. $1,600, but in the market when that changes, I feel like it's still got a lot of room to drop when people can really crush this on a large scale. Yeah, I think that politically it's about the number of licenses in each place, and the ability to produce. Like Oregon went through some major struggles, I hear, from overproduction. And so as states learn about how to better control that,
it really comes down to population.
I think that's going to be a big part of the value.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's funny because the places that are the most populated are the worst growers normally. You know what I mean? Because they can't work within an organic spectrum because of their location, and they get they're, even though they should think about it more because of the fact that they can bring product in and not ever have to take it out if they work correctly. Whereas every hydro run, there's usually some wastage, and it's a lot of pain in the ass. That literally is most growers' biggest dilemma, is getting rid of their material. Like, they're like, fuck, what am I gonna do with all this shit? You see people, and that's where they create pathogens, or they create vectors for pathogens, and there's the classic grower back in the day, especially when it was illegal. They're too scared to throw shit away because that can make them be suspect. I have been part of, and many people have been part of midnight trash runs that are, you know what I mean? That's literally
totally done that.
And here we are, organic guys now, would never throw a piece of litter on the ground. You know what I mean? It's totally like I'll come home with a bunch of things in my pocket because I never throw something on the ground. You know what I mean? That's just like embedded into me now. But back in the day when you're growing and illegally, or back in the black market, you'd just be like, got to get rid of all this shit, especially when it was full height, rock wool and shit like that. You're just like, oh my god. And you still see it. You'll be driving down the road, you see a bunch of white plastic, and you'd be like, what the fuck is that? Oh, rock wool, grow room. It's like,
there's a grow room.
That was a grow room. Someone dumped it in the middle of the night. And
one of my neighbors was walking with like a green flashlight with her dog, and I'm thinking, grow room.
Exactly. So it's and that's just kind of the way it's always been, because we're very receptive to those things because you've used the same practices your whole time. And now on a scale, you start thinking about, well, shit, if there was it was hard to get rid of that stuff then, just because it does sort of stack up. If people just understand that, growing organically and growing long term, and not thinking of these things as one-shot deals, that's the biggest problem right now, is that we're creating so much volume of waste when we do grows that are large-scale grows, even worse, because you can't help it. It's like running a ship or something. The little boat, you can kind of get away with it, but once you get bigger, you're just like, just the amount of chemicals that you're using and the amount of things, you're just literally polluting. Big polluter. So
well, it's always a problem when you have business. And, I've been reading Patagonia's books. I'm not sure if you follow their business practices, but there's a lot of philosophy in it too. And they mention that when you're in business, you're going to have waste. And so being real with that and then trying to chisel away with that, it's challenging. I mean, we don't recycle nearly as much as we should. And there's a lot of problems with some of the material. And so we're always trying to get it in bulk instead of bagged, and try to look at different materials. But man, it's tough, and I feel like a hypocrite all the time. And it's one of those things that you have to kind of accept that you're not going to be able to be perfect, and that you can try and get better every day, as opposed to just saying, hey, I'm not even going to start because it's not going to be perfect.
No, of course.
And so we've come a long way. No more midnight trash runs. We can definitely be a little bit more out front, but there's a lot of people that are locked up still, that are living in states where this is a problem. And so we've got a lot to change still. And it's weird times right now. So the more products that we can find that help people overgrow, create really, just fire and keep that quality up, the better. And so we learn more every day about growing, the way that we've preached from the beginning, with homemade soil or a premium compost-based soil, using good inputs, using worms, using cover crop. And now we're starting to see that on a really large scale. So it's awesome.
And now we're going from that large scale, though. Are you starting to see shortages of products already that you're like going, oh shit, we're going to hit a wall if we don't slow down on certain products? Because that's also the problem of using organic materials. It's only so much,
Yep. And so some of these new micronized products, the company that we're working with, they import them from Spain. They're called Ferticell or Agroplasma, and that's how they can get non-GMO soy of a superior quality. They bring it in. I feel like we'll have no shortage of that type of material this year, but when you're talking just like the heady local castings, we'd get sold through immediately if you started selling it in bulk at near the going rate for the stuff that is, just open on the market right now from recycling waste. And so when you're dealing with quality organics, it seems like there's always that issue of, man, if this takes off, it's going to be gone.
Yeah,
and what are we going to do now?
That's that's like your favorite band getting famous or something. You're like, shit.
Yep. And so
It's
we're
not
thinking
cool
about
anymore. I'm done.
just doing limited releases. Like, for instance, that local company, Cooko, with his castings, we're going to make a potting soil with his material, but it's only going to be however much we can make at one time, and that's all there is going to be until it's available next. And I feel like same model as the small family farm. Instead of trying to have thousands of acres to feed everyone, obviously the best economic model is going to be having the more localized, less freight, better quality, fresher material. So that's why we're really looking at starting the organic vegetable farm here next door, is to really put our walk the walk, instead of just talking about it, and do that local production model. And I feel like cannabis is going to start, you're going to start hearing about terroir and just like wine. And so I really think there's a lot of cool stuff to come with THC and with, the cannabis plant, besides what's going on in CBD right now. Mm-hmm. And we're just trying to figure out which products are going to be most cost effective and help solve people's problems. And it's crazy right now.
Well, the weird part is especially with the CBD products, is that, when you really make a plant super healthy, you almost risk the grower to fail because they're so used to growing swag. You know what I mean? So like all of a sudden you're going to like pump their plants up a little bit, and it's going to be like danger zone because they're like coming out at like 0.29 or something. You know what I mean? Well,
yeah.
And now,
no,
I
get it.
And now all of a sudden
it's
you're
weird
like,
because you think about genetics, right? You breed, and it's hard to make a 15% plant be 30%. So a lot of it's got to be better genetics in the future, because we need to be able to feed these plants. But interestingly enough, I was talking to a local farmer that did really, really well on small scale. And his area that was done in straw mulch and had the most, natural process going on, had the highest level of CBD. On the homogenized crop, he was getting like 20%, something crazy on this small section, and tested lower, well below the threshold, than anyone else on the same genetics, and was using all of these permaculture type principles. And so I think we're going to get a lot more data this year from people that are absolutely interested in learning what is going to affect that the most and what's going to keep numbers down. But again, it's this artificial, invisible, the business should be like this invisible hand, right? Guiding the demand for a product. And it's almost like the laws have artificially chosen CBD as the factor. So now we're going to be really researching what affects that. And I feel like we're going to get some information out of that regardless. That's going to benefit everyone. But definitely weird times to hear people scared to feed a plant because they don't want to test hot.
Yeah, and that is a problem. People are like, literally want weaker things, and they're scared because they want to not.
Yeah,
they don't want to
pollinate everyone because they have freaking males out there from feminized seed they bought that they still didn't understand what that really meant, or they got clones that were horrible, and now there's feral. Mm-hmm. Wild seed from the trucks driving around everywhere. I mean, it's a game changer for every indoor grower, every outdoor grower. Everyone I know out here got pollinated last year that had their own personal crop. Really? And so I think people are going to look at setting up these little greenhouses for their backyard, stuff that are just going to be keeping them producing their own home crop,
That's a problem, and that's literally one of those things where people get, and that's one of the things I told the people on the island when I did this meeting in St. Croix. I was saying to them, it's going to be an issue if you have a hemp crop right away, so I think you should kind of hold back until you get some proper, guidance on that, because if somebody goes nuts in there and starts throwing so-called feminized plants out, it's not the same as being, really on. You're almost better to do it from seed, regular seed, and just do it yourself, because then you 100% go through at least 4 or 5, maybe even 6 or 10 or 20 inspections. It's however it takes to make 100% sure before it goes to the next phase, and that's doable. It's just needs manpower.
Be realistic with your seed. If you know that 1 in 2,000 is going to be a male,
yeah, you still have to look.
Then treat it like 1 in 100 is going to be, and go inspect it. But that takes labor, and that's part of the reason you spend more to get feminized, and that offsets the desire to get regular. So it's really about finding out what the real commodity level is, because if you're using a seeding machine and all your seed is different size, it causes a problem. So all of a sudden, the seed producer has to screen seed to a certain size and lower the amount they can sell. just everything is like this huge learning curve right now about how to talk about selling stuff. And I was talking to a buddy the other day at all these events. People would have CBD clones for sale with aphids all over them and be open about that and not feel like that didn't really even lower the value.
Well, at least
I get
open.
that that's a real challenge, but at least communicate, say at least this is what's going on. It's just crazy out there right now.
Well, that's always been the case. So I would never buy a clone ever at a show, just like I wouldn't get a tattoo at a show. Like, it's not.
Yeah, I would never consider it, but I mean, still, it's there. And so
I know. It is the buyer beware at those situations, but it's sad. I saw it at the same at the Emerald Cup one year where it was just like spider mite encrusted plants, literally, and people were walking out with them, and I was like, whoa, this is weird. I was like, don't they see they have spider mites already? And I was like, night and day. So besides that, any other new stuff coming on the pipeline as far as because I know you're being on the Western Slope is like being on the moon compared to here, I think, as far as distance and time and things and what's going on there. It's like you guys get a good chance to really focus on some real grows, and it's got the best sun. So that's one of those things where you just like can't beat a mountain range. You know what I mean? So we're definitely on the wrong side of the mountain. So how was last year's crop compared to or like what are you thinking about season wise? When you guys are still going to start mid-June or something like that?
Yeah, June 1st is usually when everybody's going to be starting, and it's beautiful out here. I mean, the weather's pretty good, and there's a lot of opportunity out here, but it's crazy. When I was looking at getting this building, there was just tons of vacant property, no opportunity economically. And now we're looking to expand Build-A-Soil and get a much more high-tech soil operation and get more inventory storage space as we set up the farm. And so we need to go in a couple different directions, and we're looking around, and man, a couple different investors have basically taken up every property with 3-phase power, locked down every warehouse, and is filling it with hemp to dry or whatever they're doing, processing. And every single person from my accountant and dentist, and I mean, I don't know, everyone you talk to is like, hey, so have you heard about this hemp thing? Or I heard you're the guy to talk to, and it's just now it's in everyone's mouth, and so it's pretty much 100% across the board. It's changed everything here on the Western Slope.
Yeah, it'd be good to see. I mean, and once that's the thing about hemp in general is like just to watch how much it affects the local economy is going to be pretty interesting all across the board. It's going to be like, literally kind of come from left field because people won't realize the amount of other things that'll be generated from that.
Yep, we're selling cases and cases and cases of root riots, and people are buying greenhouse after greenhouse after greenhouse. There's John Deere next door to us. They're on the same street. There's like a parking lot full of tractors going to every hemp field out here. There's definitely a lot of stimulation, economically going on because banks are lending on it. People are talking. There's insurance. I mean, it's cool. As far as my passion for the cannabis plant instead of just the cannabis CBD variety type, there's still a lot going on there too, and it's really cool to see California finally loosening up a little bit, maybe a few things happening out there. I don't know all the politics, but I know that last year was just like a nightmare. And so you have so many dominoes falling at the same time. And then like we said, Oklahoma coming on board with so many different places. I just feel like there's going to be more bullshit and more good things happening this year than ever before. And next year's going to be the same, and that's not going to stop for a long time. So, and I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. I feel like all those people that have supported us since we were out of my house, now we've got I think 18 employees, and every single person that works here grows, is really invested emotionally into the process, and so we just want to make sure that we can.
That's good to know because it means
keep along and communicate with the people without like overwhelming ourselves right now. It's just really good.
Yeah, no, it's good because we don't. That means I'm not lying every week because I basically say that exact. I kind of condense that out into my spiel, but the reality is, everybody who works there is super. I don't say they grow. I just say they understand. Tell them they all they know what they're talking about. So in general, and it's not even about growing weed. Sometimes it's also just understanding plants, and that's huge because a lot of growers, because they're all bottled newts and they're kind of just working at a grow shop, or their friend worked at a grow shop, or they whatever it is, they're a grower, which is true. And I mean, I'm not saying they're not growers, but you guys are all like, understanding root science, understanding, understanding. Is it better? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I swear most of the people that work here are better growers than me. It's like, it's uplifting for sure. And then that also helps because when we're talking about new products and we have new things come in, it's not like, oh, great, more inventory. It's like, oh my God, what is this? How do we use it? Let's play with it. And so that passion, I think, is what really drives through because there's so many places you can buy things. I just feel like for me, when we got out of the forums and we could actually talk on the phone or do the Adam Dunn show and people were actually out in the open discussing this, that was really exciting for so many of us that were like just wanting to talk about this hidden desire of this secret grow room we couldn't fucking tell anyone about, And so that just continues and that energy hasn't gone away from the scene, All the events I go to, I feel like everyone is just super passionate about this plant. So
Yeah, no, that is the whole point of your I think our original sort of meeting through Mitch and the connection, which was good because it was also like ahead of the curve because I feel like you guys were really on a sort of tipping point of growing style when it wasn't that complicated, but it was just kind of putting it in a kind of, I don't know, a more palatable and easy to kind of understand thing. And then on top of that, the whole point of growing organically for food. Oh, we got a call?
You there?
Yeah.
Oh, we won't be able to.
No, we can't merge.
So,
That's fine for
Well, I got one last new thing.
Okay, one last new thing, and then we'll have him call back.
So the last new thing is we're aware that, as we've grown, our website's grown a lot. It's gotten a little bit cumbersome. And being that we're in the cannabis industry, we really want to have our own platform to make sure politics never get in the way. So we are developing from scratch, having everything custom coded for a new Build a Soil website. It's going to take a few more months. And then from there, it's pretty much going to be a permanent project. But we're going to have the fastest, full everything JavaScript, really fast, a lot less clunkiness. So for people that have been dealing with our website, I really appreciate it. Please leverage our staff. If you ever have any issues, we're always working on issues. But when this new website is up and running, I think it's going to be night and day difference as far as speed and ease of ability to shop and estimate shipping and all that. So
yeah, it's a struggle. You guys have a lot of products and you have unique products, I'm sure. So it's like a combination of like not having all the right boxes isn't every time because it's like this doesn't really work for us. I can imagine
that. And the last thing I did forget about is Rootwise. We've been doing phenomenal with the Rootwise combo of products, and because it has a lot of success in the hemp fields, we had a lot of people hit us up for orders for like way too much quantity late in the season. And so anyone that's going to be growing large scale, if they can plan ahead a little bit, it's really going to help us. His product's really been taken off this year.
Gotcha. So Rootwise going to be sold out soon, I can imagine.
No, we'll have it available. But some of these big farms, they're like, yeah, we got 1,000 acres. Can we just walk in and grab it off the shelf? So
yeah, that's going to be a definite learning curve for this whole industry because it's going to be.
Yep.
I mean, you deal with it all the time. So cool. Well, I mean, it's good. Like I said, I wanted to do a longer show with you for sure, real soon. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the opportunity today, and
you get the green screen.
Thanks for having me on, man.
You get the green screen, and I'll get the whole show time. We can actually, again, it's cool because I'm sitting in front of a green screen. We could be hanging out, dude. We could just be hanging out. But instead, I got two empty mics. I literally have two empty mics next to me because our other crew hasn't shown up yet. So anyway.
All right, well, let's figure out how to get a computer, and then I'll get a green screen.
The computer's working again, but it's a piece of crap. So we wouldn't. It couldn't even handle a Skype mic. I mean, come on, dude. That's ridiculous, isn't it? I'm blaming the computer, but it's definitely the update. So anyway, thanks, guys. Or thanks. And congratulations, of course.
All right, appreciate it.
Bye.
Okay, guys. Take care.
Bye.
And you can have your phone back now. Turn my mic down. Huh? Yeah, we are. And I sent you a background, too.
Oh, did you?
To your face of base. Okay. Yes, my sir. It's always good to have Jeremy on. I hear a little echo because it's somewhere, but not sure where. James at 6 o'clock. You can call in now, my friend. We're actually running on time. Look, we're on a schedule. It's almost looking like we're on a proper schedule. We're starting at 6 o'clock with a new guest because we're so professional. Amazing. So has to go back to that again? He can't. Oh, he can't. Oh, he can try or no?
We can try if you want.
Let's do this way first. Let's see.
Okay.
Hello.
Yo, yo, yo. We're gonna go on the old school still. We could try the new school, but I think with you, it might be just better to stay old school. How is that for
It's always
you?
better to stay old school. You never do an update before a show. Come on now, you know that shit.
Never a day before. Come on, a day before a
Never.
show. Are you crazy? That would be retarded.
Never. It's just like DJs. You never update your laptop before you go play. That's the worst way that you're just asking for problems. Adam Dunn knows this shit.
Never update. I know that. That's the first. Yeah, until you have to. Until you have to. When you do it, you make sure it's a good one.
Unless you're waiting for the update, so
You
that
never
you can.
update before a show.
I know,
You never
but
update before a show. Like that for a show. You always got to work the bugs out.
yeah, but we're waiting
It's
for
like we knew that we're still. Yeah.
we're waiting for
Anyway, we
functionality.
knew that by switching to my new website this week,
Yeah, how
we'd
it's-
have some downtime, and we did. We had a couple hours, but
Well, you
it
can
wasn't
never
bad.
make your
The
mic.
website's up
You can
and
never
going.
make your mic sound good. So that's the first problem. So you're better
what?
DJ. I said you can never make your mic on your thing because you're always wearing some dongly thing or something. I always imagine you're just like got something taped to your head almost, and like you're running around doing 9 things at once because that's the way you operate. I know. I've been with you. I know how you.
Generally, when you got this many things you got to do, but I don't have it right now. I'm talking out on my phone. Am I all right?
Okay, I'm just checking. I don't know. Usually it's a dongly thing or something like that. So, Mr. James Bean, man, on the scene, you got a lot going on. You've been opening the new forum, which I checked out early on, but that was when it was just like wasn't ready. But I don't know.
Right. Well,
Now all of a sudden,
before we get into all that, though, I do have a special guest on the phone right now,
already?
and I wanted he's got an invite for you, and probably I want to tell you a little bit about him. He's got I've got a Grayskull from Hawaii with us.
Oh, really? He's on another line.
Aloha.
Aloha, Mr. Grayskull. How are you doing, my friend?
What's up, boys?
Chilling.
You know, we're cruising. It's another beautiful day in Maui, Maine. Miss you guys, man.
I know. Well, I miss Maui. It was fun. So, whoa, another one already? Isn't it? Is it been a year, or are we doing like a double? What are we doing? What's going on here? I'm trying to remember if it's been a whole year already. Has it been a whole year since? No.
It's been almost a year. Yeah, come May, June. It'll be.
Oh my God, that goes quick, doesn't it? Okay, so
It's been fast.
So you've been like holding it down out there, and a couple. I heard there's something about a new strain or two.
You know, we had a real positive reception to the first release we did with our friends here at Seats Here Now, and you know, we had people asking for more, and okay. So, you know, we got, the fire pie crosses. You know, we love reversing the fire pie. That's just awesome pot that we love to smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have the fem line, and we also have the Maui Girl regulars. We released a bunch of these, and we're really proud of those.
What's the background on that?
And there's a wedding. Wasn't like a wedding cake cross, maybe I just saw.
Oh, dude, those, man. The wedding cake sourdoughs. Yeah, we talked to our homie JB Beasy, and he was like, dude, hit the wedding cake. So we were like, okay. And there's some phenos in there that are just phenomenal. You get that wedding cake look, that OG just killer with the sour notes. You know, and that's just, it's beautiful. That's just some crip.
Mm-hmm.
We brought him up earlier, but Canapoo actually hit me up and was like, dude, that Grayskull release is sick. And so he was on my, he hit him at the DMs, and I definitely got him a pack. And he's actually going to be out there with us in Maui coming up. Yeah, he was lucky enough to get an invite. Grayskull.
Joe is all over the show.
he's
Mr.
gonna be there.
Canapoo is all over the show, dude. He's running the show. His name's
I
been
know.
dropped.
I'm gonna hear it.
His name's being dropped left and right. Mr. Pooh.
Dude, I'm super humble. He's even stoked on anything. You know, he doesn't want to just hit me with a chair. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a very cool guy, very humble.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to meeting. Dude, the Ahi this year is ridiculous.
So who's all coming to the Ahi?
Who's all coming to the Ahi? Well, we actually got some sponsorship help this year.
Oh my God! Not sponsorship. That's terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Well, it's, you know how it is when you throw a party. It's
it's hard. It's hard work.
you're throwing a party.
James has thrown tons of
So,
parties. James has thrown so many parties. He's seen the demise of the what you think's going to happen. It's almost like those. It's almost like those nailed it. You know, those nailed it things where the memes that everyone's throwing up. It's like parties have been like that for me so many times. Where you're like, if you could have a photo of what I thought the party was going to be like, and then a photo of the actual party, it's like not exactly the same thing. Usually, it's like it was. But occasionally, you get it right. I mean, the last one you guys did was killer. So I can only imagine it's going to be better, right? It's going to be bigger, better, more, or it's going to be a different place, or we're up in the same zone because it was a beautiful place. I don't know if you can get better than Rainbow Bridge, can you?
We were really lucky. We've been really lucky the last couple of years to have a really awesome place on Maui to hold it. This year we're going to be North Shore Oahu. And
North Shore. So.
It's going to be really, really nice. We figure might as well, if we're going to be doing the ahi, might as well tour the islands, right?
Yeah.
Well, good thing you told me, because I got me and Dunn tickets going to Maui, so we gotta.
We are there.
Man, it's set on the
Guess I'm going to Maui now.
I don't read these tickets. I don't read. Come on now. All right.
You made it a picture, even so. You look at the picture and it's all texted on there. Oh man.
Oh man, I'm worse than my customers. I tell you, we don't read anything, but it's all right. It's all good. Okay. But yeah, but I'm totally excited. I know that Swamp Boys are coming. You're going to have last year's winners.
Dude, last year's winners: Emerald Delta, Pauhana Supply. Joey Dean. Best grower in Hawaii 3 years running. I've got my partner. He's a badass.
And one thing that I really enjoyed that I don't usually see at competitions, or I haven't seen, is that I don't know if you did this on purpose or if I was supposed to do this, but you had like your tables were covered in paper, and so I could just like write my notes down on each thing.
Oh, you love that? That was your favorite thing in the world.
On the paper.
You love that?
Yeah,
bro. That was just luck, because we didn't want to rent the tablecloths because we figured they get holes in them and we have to buy them.
So I think so here's my idea with that thing is you take you save those tablecloths that they write down with the paper and notes, and then you take like whoever won, and then you make like a collage with it. You cut all the pieces out, and the collage is framed up, and that's what everybody's responsible for that thing. But we'll talk about that. But yeah, I thought you did that on purpose.
That was just,
that was genius. That's always
cool.
that's the sign of true genius.
We planned that. Are you kidding?
Of course you did.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Now what you got to do though, what would be cool is you get one of those perforators, right? And you make them like the whole table like a big perforated, trip thing. Boom, but make them big so you can peel them off, like peel the pages off. My idea. There you go. I just came up with that.
It works.
I just came with James. That was my idea. Get on it. Perforated paper tables.
Perforated?
Yeah, the whole table, but giant ones, like 8 by like regular size paper size, but squares. That'd be dope. That'd be cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we're doing the tables this year, but I know we're having like 200 guests between the entrance and the judges.
Wow.
So we're it's going to be, come on, you got to do it bigger and better every year, right? I don't want to.
No.
Don't want to do
we're really
that.
excited. We got some animals coming. You mentioned Swamp Boys. Real OG Cushman who's coming. Karma Genetics, Dynasty Genetics, Midnight Roots, my homie from Michigan. He's going to come.
So I believe I will have an entry from Duke Diamond as well for you. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So Duke Diamond will be on the mainland line. On the Hawaiian side, we got Joey Green, Trichome Fields Forever, JP Maui, who got second place a couple years ago. Our homie Skunk
Supernova.
Got a couple. Supernova's going to be coming as a guest judge. He's cool.
Everybody doesn't know Supernova's made the Purple Punch. It wasn't symbiotic. It was Supernova, but he's just in Hawaii on a contract and couldn't really come out and claim it. But Supernova's your guy that made the Purple Punch thing, not symbiotic. Just put that out there.
Yeah,
just to clear that up.
Supernova, he's good people. He's great. He's kicking ass over there in Hawaii. I love him to death, and I just root for him as hard as I can.
And then, not to get your hopes up, but we're going to try again. The guy who did the Northern Lights is over there. Wolf is going to be on right after this, and I got to talk to Wolf, but we'd love to get Greg House over there and get him judging. So And he's actually on Oahu. So,
Well, dude, that'll be pretty easy. Well, we can get another chair, and if we don't need chairs, we'll get a 5-gallon bucket, and if not, we'll figure it out.
I'll give him my chair. If that guy comes, I'll give him my seat. I mean, he's 90, and then he's the one that made all the Northern Lights. Like, I believe he's the guy behind them all. So,
that's going to be
quite
awesome.
the guy.
Do you think he would come out? Do you think? Did you actually get confirmation that he would come? Because he's pretty. I mean, Wolfie's pretty tight with him.
No, I've got
Greg's a little.
I've got to work on it, but he's
a little tough to get out.
He's scary because he's got a slight stuttering problem, and I'm like, dude, nobody gives a fuck. Like, get this story on tape and take your claim and shit. Like, don't worry about that stuff.
Dude,
but,
we can't even keep
on my forums right now. He's under NL Greg. He owns the patents. He did the shit. He's got the paperwork. He was a Vietnam vet that came back from Vietnam and was doing it for PTSD. Wanted to figure out shit that made him not freak out. And so he's got paperwork on each of the 11. I mean, you talked to him on the phone, but he numbered them 1 through 11 based on height. So 5 was the middle height one. That's why it makes sense everybody used 5. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, that website is awesome. By the way, I love the presentation. I love how easy it is to use.
The new website.
Yeah, the new website's great, man.
Thank you. It's been the right thing, and thanks to everybody that's stuck in with us because it's been rough for a couple of months. I had the old website on life support for the last 2 months, and so we finally got it switched over to the new one. It's still missing there's a hiccup here and there, but most part we got it up and going. It's also got the forums attached to it, and the forums each what I've done is each breeder, Gray Skull, Crockett, Dunn, all of them have their own page. And inside that page, they have their own fact section, their own announcement section, their own strain section, as well as their own general section. So you can go in and you want to talk to
Jesus Christ, it's like getting a homework assignment right here.
Talk to him, see his strains, check out his announcements. And the thing about this is it's breeder owned and operated. So I own the server, and it's based in the Netherlands, it's bulletproof, and I'm paying to have a backup server back up my server. And so the most content I'll ever lose is 1 day's worth of content. And so instead of IG shutting us down or Facebook shutting us down and like pretty much killing history of cannabis, we have the site and the server and this information, and we'll never be able to take them down. And so we just got taken down for the 17th time. We were deleted from Instagram. And so, which I...
That's like, is that a record? Is that a record? How many, what do you think is the most someone's been deleted?
Huh?
How many times do you think is the most people have like fought it without just giving up? Because you must be at that phase.
I don't know.
You must be close to the top.
Whoever's trying to do it does not know me well enough. They think that they keep doing it. I'm just going to give up.
I guess like porn sites back in the day maybe were having it tough.
Persistence, man. Charge.
But you start running out of email addresses. You start running out of names. You start like up to 17. Like you probably just got everything we can.
I mean, it gets hard enough. Like just as new passwords and new this. You're like, oh god, Jesus Christ, the bandwidth.
And then each time they kill you, they actually block your MAC address. And so any device that access that Instagram account has to be reset and has to get a new MAC ID. And so you got to reset the iPad. You got to reset your telephone. You got to reset all that shit. To get a new MAC ID and open a new website. So, or add a new page on Instagram. It's a pain in the ass. But you're not stopping me. I'm already up again.
Well, when you call seeds here now, it's kind of like you're already asking for fucking, you're asking.
Yeah.
You're asking
but,
for it.
That's right. And that's the whole idea behind the forum is that they can't take us down. They can't censor us. They can't put this down. And we don't have to go for trolls and people that want to just talk shit. They're only doing this because now we can just ban them. Fucking kick them out of your room and ban them. The breeders can post up stuff and actually have their info in a spot where they can really refer to it. My customers can go to you guys and say, hey, what's the best way to grow this? And you guys can actually answer them. And you don't have to worry about being booted off or them taking your pictures down or any of that shit. We also have an eye candy section, so you can log in, post pictures of the strains. Once a month we'll go through, and whoever has the best picture, we give them $100 at the end of the year. Someone gets $500 for the best picture. So it's kind of it's a cool thing. But on that note, let me call Wolf Siegel in. Gray, I appreciate you hopping in with us real quick. Let me call Wolf Siegel in. He's running a lot of that part for me. So.
Get him to howl into the show.
Awesome. Hey, I just want to give thanks again for the line, and love chatting with you guys. And
of course,
we're really proud to be a part of Seeds here now, and looking forward to seeing everybody at the hockey coming up. On Oahu.
Damn, I can't believe it.
I will get the ticket strings, but we appreciate coming out. We love having you. Your ears been solid, so thanks for working with us. I definitely appreciate it.
Shoots. Aloha, boys.
Sweet.
Okay.
Aloha, my friend.
Aloha. That
So
was fun last year, Dunn, wasn't it? It was a good time.
what? Yeah, I'm packing up already, dude. I'm ready to go. But now I've been in a lot of tropical places, so it's weird because I compare. Hawaii is like the place you compare. Like when you're in Puerto Rico, it kind of feels like you're in like kind of a Hawaii vibe in some places, but it's got Spanish, So it's like Mexico and Hawaii. But bam, there I am. Like when I was there, I was like, that's where I am. I'm in like Hawaii. It felt like, but anyway.
Well, I'm going to give Wolf Studio a call. So give me just a second.
Give the Wolfster a go. Yeah, howling at the wolf right now, officially. Sorry, I'm trying to type something to you. Here I am typing to the guy across the room. Is James gone?
Hello.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Oh, there he is. Sorry, we lost everybody. Now we got the
Yes,
Wolfster.
indeed.
Howling at the wolf. He's here. What's going on, Wolfster?
Hey.
What's going on?
Well, let me see. Been listening. I'm really excited about James and Siege Here Now's forum. I'm contributing fairly regularly. It's fun. It's really, really, really cool. Like all of the breeders being able to reach in and go, hey, I'm really curious about, take your pick because I don't want to play favorites. What can you tell me about it? And actually being able to get the answers. I don't think that anyone out there has done anything even vaguely like that before. Any of the brokers where you've got all the big groups, and then James
and I definitely want to say thank you for doing all that information. I know that when I first brought the forum up, I wouldn't use a forum at somebody else's house. I mean, I wouldn't enter the words marijuana or weed nowhere. You couldn't pay me to enter it in the internet. So I never used the forum because it scared the shit out of me. And so you guys that actually choose to take the chances and like obsolete would like tell me how, so if you're on your iPhone and you need a chick for a date and you meet her in the parking lot, she's not hot, and you just don't have to go inside and eat dinner. You meet someone on the forums and you go to bring them a clone and they're the cops, now you're going to jail. And so you guys were taking some serious risks back then, and I definitely, I appreciate it. But I wanted to open the forums because the way they couldn't delete my shit and they could be in contact with all my breeders. And at the same time, so when I thought about it, like who knows this stuff? Who's back old enough to run this and can do it some justice? And so you came to mind. I definitely appreciate all the posting you've done, all the knowledge, all the history you have, and just thank you very much for contributing.
Well, some of the things that people can look forward to being on there sometime this week, I'm going to put up a history of seed banking. I won't tell you all of who my sources were for it, but I will tell you that the people I spoke to about it include the very first couple of significant seed bankers that opened up over in the Netherlands, and then they in turn told me about the rest of the people that came along in that first little bit in the period leading up to the High Times Cups. So it's kind of fun being able to have this kind of a forum, this kind of a podium to be able to talk about that history, because I mean, I'm kind of young for this bunch of people.
Yeah, you're so young.
I wouldn't go that far.
Like I started to say, sorry about that.
You're hallucinating
my dog
over
just
there?
jumped up on my lap.
Oh my God! You can already tell.
I'm young for that circle of people, but those people
like Lorax
are history.
You're like Lorax.
Are if we don't tell the stories, if we don't get the stories recorded, if we don't remember what it was like and just all of the things that were going on, it's going to disappear. And maybe that doesn't mean much to some people, but I really think that part of, I'll get on my political soapbox for a second. Part of what's wrong now in America is that we aren't paying attention to what we're about and where we came from. And that seeps over into everything. And if you don't appreciate your roots, if you don't keep track of how things got to where they are, you don't even really have a good idea of where you are. It's like, being in a cave and trying to describe what the sky looks like, or
right.
it needs more than that, and hopefully.
And that's what I think. With Instagram deleting everything and YouTube deleting everything and all that shit. Like 10 years from now, you look back and tell people, no, we actually used to grow our own. In fact, people went to jail for this shit. It was crazy. Like, what do you mean? I just go to a store and get a pen. And you're like, no, you could grow your own. Really, like it was a thing. But as long as Instagram keeps deleting all these stuff and videos keep getting deleted, then we don't have proof. None of us have pictures. How many of us actually have pictures of our stuff that we have printed out or not on our phone or a hard copy of?
I mean, I go through that a lot over Sea of Green. Fortunately, there's like 5 copies of the book floating around of how to, of growing indoors for fun and profit that has like the first reference, so that when people say, oh, no, that didn't happen, I go, well, okay, here's the book from 1985. See where it says Sea of Green? And then it's real for them. How do you tell someone, well, like even just now, James, when you talked about Greg's role in it, what Greg did, what Greg McAllister did, is he took the Northern Lights collection to Neville. Hopefully sometime this year we're going to get Herbie, who made Northern Lights 5 on with Adam. Hopefully sometime, I would love to get Greg to come on the show and talk about that trip, because that trip was amazing. He took Sea of Green and the Northern Lights collection to Neville, hung out with Neville. Ben Dronkers and Neville were still buddies at that point. Ben Dronkers teaches Greg about Grodan slab growing. Greg's really impressed. He comes back. He goes to FB Knight in Kent, Washington, and now Grodan is being imported. That disappears without us knowing that. Or like Big Bud. Did you know Big Bud used to be called George's Big Bud?
Well, everything had a name.
And I mean, I'm not going to say which George, but I will say Portland.
Right.
Okay. So, there's all of that. Those stories.
Well,
Greg can tell.
It matches with the Gordons.
Stories of all 11 of the Northern Lights collection.
Yeah, so it matches with my other
One
guy.
of the things that I'm hoping is maybe we can, if Greg gets on board with it, Neville owes Greg favors. Maybe we can get Greg to get Neville to tell these stories. But this kind of history, this oral history, I knew so-and-so, if we don't start now, that opportunity is going to go away. Like there's a guy I wish I could speak to. When Kerouac and Cassidy and Ginsberg were on the road trip, the trip they wrote that book about, they stopped at a guy's house down in Texas. I don't know if it was El Paso or Laredo. And this guy was growing cannabis to sell in Greenwich Village in Texas in the mid-50s. We're never going to know his name. Or I'm never going to, well, I mean, I'd like to, but I don't know anyone who would even still be alive from back then.
Yeah. I mean,
and so that disappears. We lose track of, like, I've been learning this year, all this time, I've thought that Bill Drake's book was the first book that anyone wrote about growing indoors for social use, north of Tijuana. No, there were like 3 books before that that came out in 68 and 69. And all that history needs to get told. Look at how much we're changing the world, and no one's going to know where those changes were rooted if we don't get it down.
Oh, Jesus, where are you, in an elevator?
Get it out.
What's going on back there? Oh, that's our. Oh, no, we're in our place. We got Mr. Dooley coming in. Nice. So our guests have finally shown up. It's only taken hours, but it's good. Timing was good. We were late as usual. So are our guests. Perfect. So with you guys, well, we know whenever we see you at shows, Wolf, that you're definitely have been acknowledged, I think, by at least enough of the right people that we do understand that the history is not that old, and we can actually kind of there's a lot of stuff that you've been a part of, which we can pretty much back, like, because Farmer in the Sky was the shit back in the day. I mean, you definitely what you were writing was definitely part of it, because it was also palatable back in the day, because that whole magazine was mind-blowing sensibility tips as far as a grower went, just because it was the first one that kind of felt like you could actually learn each time something, and now it's
And just overgrow, like if you had the server for overgrow, there was so much quality information and knowledge on that stuff you could just go through and read. But because that server got subpoenaed and brought into custody, we don't have access to it. We don't have the knowledge on it. And so that's why with me basing my servers on Proton servers in Amsterdam, they're bulletproof pretty much done with the backup. We'll never lose this information now. Like, people will always have it. And because the thing I see is that now we have a lot of new players in the market, a lot of new growers. Everybody is over the fact that, just because, the last couple of years they grew it, but just because you grew it didn't mean you want to smoke it. And so now they're trying to figure out, how do I grow it to make it look like the shit I buy in this picture? And they need that knowledge. And Facebook is not, and IG, I'm sorry, is not the place to get that. There's a lot of bullshit trolls out there that will just, it's not good. And so if you can go to one place in these forums and listen to some of that, what I consider the top guys who have done it, my breeders and whatnot, go to their rooms, ask them individual questions and whatnot. I think that's a great source for knowledge and information. And just to hook everybody up in one area is good and convenient, and you can load pictures up. And like I said, the thing about this, and that I had to promise all my guys, is that I would keep the server up. It would never go down, because like I talked to Kaya at Pacific Northwest Roots, and he would go on how he would have, he would document the full-on grow, 8 week and every cycle and pictures and everything. And now that's all gone. When they lost their server, it was boom, it's gone. And so, it's just a wealth of information that the people want to learn how to grow and don't want to, feel stupid or get harassed for it because they ask the question.
And like my grandfather said, the only stupid question is an honest one that you don't ask. And we need to be, one of the things that I hope that the forum is going to be about is if you don't know how to germinate, if it's your first crop and someone said, hey, deal with seeds here now, they've got everything and they're reliable and honest, then they'll be able to go there, and as they're looking at the forum, they'll be able to go, hey, look, germination. And I've got the technique I use there. That's a lot of excerpts of the book I'm working on are going to be there first before they're out as the book. But also, and people, there are people who I don't necessarily agree with, but whom I have huge respect for. I'm reaching out to them, and in the section on germination, there's going to be like my way, and I'm trying to get Tony Leviat to do it, a couple other people that do things a little differently than I do, so that people will be able to go, and you'll know when you go to the forum and you see like germination, or you see cloning, or you see air layering, you're going to be able to find accurate information. This isn't just some guy who really sounds good on Facebook, but that actually his head is up his ass.
No way. Those guys don't exist.
I've never even heard of one of those. Never even heard of one.
Again?
What up, Wolf? How's it going, bud?
Hey, how you doing?
Chilling.
It's Tate, by the way, in case you're wondering.
Yo, this is Tater with Keto Life. How you doing, buddy?
He's in the studio, live.
Hey, Tate.
Live here in the studio. So we got joined by Tate. I think we got him a scroll. Should I send a logo? Should I send you a logo? Or you can look
What's up, Tate, man? I think you guys came by my booth like 5 or 6 years ago now, and you gave me little sample packs of what was the green shiny packs and stuff. I went home and used it, and I love the hell out of it.
There you go.
Really
green shiny packs. That's
really
him.
Cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got a very good product for shows like that, because you can actually effectively give him a dose that'll actually work on a decent amount. That's one of the problems I get when I get samples. Is people give me a sample that's so small that I can't ever tell if it worked, because most things they need a little bit of, a couple rounds here or there, and your rounds are so big that if you isolate it down to one plant, then you really got to be diligent. But if you can do an area, let's say, it might work, but they'll give you enough to do a leaf, and you're well, that is not going to work. Mr. Tate Dooley, Keto Life. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Sorry to interrupt there, Wolf. Actually, I really liked where Wolf was going with all that. With the seed germination stuff.
I always tell people, you don't have to start or don't start. Try something on your entire room. No. Don't have to do that. Don't do it. You want to try something new? It doesn't hurt to try it on one plant.
You are so correct with that.
You can watch the difference on that one, and if it works for you, great. If not, it costs you one plant. Big deal.
And if you're going to do that, do 2 plants of the kind, one the way you do it and one the other way, so you can see.
Well, you do the whole room.
You say, of course. You don't know how many people don't do that.
Always have the control.
I would still run the full room we do. We just add that one plant just be done differently. Good, different things in it. Yeah.
So
I made the classic stuff up. I was selling a bunch of clones. I was like, oh man, I got the cookies. There you go. So I ran like higher cookies.
now we're losing you. We're losing you. I'm losing you.
Food, and I was like, good God, what the fuck have I done?
How come your sound is so crazy always? James, you have the weirdest sound. Every time you sounds like you're going into a room out of a tube into another. Anyway, it's okay. We love you. We love you. So Wolfster.
Yes.
Also, besides the forum, I mean, you and I are always chatting and things are always bubbling, ideas and stuff. What do you think about that whole yeast thing that they're doing with the? Because I know that's something.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
I can see you going crazy about that. That's a Wolfie thing.
It was a natural progression. It's what the pharmaceutical industry tends to do if they can. But I think that it got me thinking when I first started hearing hints about it a year or two ago, and I didn't really think about it. And then about a month and a half, 2.5 months ago, I started really thinking about it, and I figured out that there's actually a way, depending on what your local laws are and everything, there's actually a way to hyper-efficiently mass-produce virtually unlimited quantities of CBGA from cannabis. And where that's this huge thing is CBGA is every other non-varin cannabinoid once it's gone through various enzymatic reactions. So what they're doing or trying to do is they're taking E. coli, they're taking yeast that's been genetically modified, and it's kicking out CBGA. Then they are pushing that CBGA to become CBDA, THCA, and all of the products that are then degradative products from that. Well, I started thinking about it, and I went, wait a second. I could do that, and that, and that. And oh my God, I could actually, where it's going is, I believe 85 to 90% of a market worldwide that's 10 or 20 times what it is now is going to be extracts. They're going to pull extracts to specific recipes and recombine them, and that's going to be the PBR of consumer cannabis. And most of that is probably going to be from yeast or E. coli derived CBGA. Well, it doesn't need to be. It can come from it can come from cannabis in this process that I thought of. And I'm getting to the point where I kind of like to retire and lay on a beach and watch beautiful women go by. No. So I'm looking for investors out there now. I found a perfect place in Oregon to prove the concept. Well, the concept's already proven, but to set up and start doing the concept. And so I'm looking for, right now I'm hunting high and low for investors to back that. I've got an invitation from our friend Shimol to join him and his buddies down in Jujuy province in Argentina for a few months to do some scouting and development for I believe it's for the province of Jujuy. It's actually for the provincial government and some private enterprise backers. And so that's going on, and that may or may not happen, but my big excitement at the moment is this CBGA project. If I can find the backers and set it up right, I believe that what it does is, again, my choice for personal consumption is always going to be wonderful, beautifully, biotically grown, hand-trimmed ganja flowers, or maybe dry sift, perhaps some bubble from it. But if I'm the guy that's trying to be convenient and inexpensive and you can always get the same effect, then I'm going to be that guy who's looking for an extract made to a recipe, and I'm probably going to buy it in the disposable vape pens. Well, that's modern American enterprise at its finest. Quick, easy, don't have to think about it a lot. But the moral high ground, I, for one, want to smoke it real. I want what I smoke to be cannabis-derived. I don't want a yeast product. as being what I'm using when I have
yeast, man.
the ability to use this plant that I've served all my life.
I have a question, though, for the pharmaceutical industry. Do you think that it's going to end up being isolated compounds of CBD, CBG, CBC, CBN, whatever it may be, and then recombine back together? Or do you think that do you think it's going to advance to that type of separation and control by GMP or CGMP certified facilities?
Well, everyone they know. I mean, everything that they know already, they're going to just, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They're already
so
doing
they're going to not, it's going to not be left,
but the
left
ability,
together.
The ability
to scale that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, it's all good. So they're not going to at some point let us leave this plant together in its natural molecular state and cannabinoid profile.
Oh, no.
It'll all go, especially in the pharmaceutical round.
That 10 to 15% of this huge market is going to be that for people that want to do that. But for pharmaceutical applications, short of doing ensemble research and coming up with specific profiles and then providing the epigenetic and growth factors that are necessary to consistently produce that time after time after time. Well, remember that a corporate officer has a fiscal duty to their shareholders,
fiduciary,
maximum profit. And if I can produce medicine that meets all of that at the highest dollar, if I'm a CEO, I have a responsibility to my stockholders to do it that way. Now, if I can show them, oh, wait, this is the exact same as that, but it came from cannabis instead of from yeast, and I can market it as being real, not synthetic, and still hit that profit line, that's what I'm going to do in order to fulfill my my fiduciary responsibility.
Right.
So, yeah, it can be, it should be. For personal use, oh, hell yes, it's always going to be, for those of us that love the plant, it's always going to be flowers and real cannabis. For medicine, it can be, but in order to get there, we have to be able to identify what epigenetic factors specifically influence which chemotypical expressions in known genotypes and be able to constantly do that. And that's another piece of this CDGA project I'm talking about. It gives me a place to do a full-on lab where I can go, okay, the difference in light between this and this is this. The difference in temperatures was this and this. It's going to include a full-time, the project I have in mind includes a full-time analytical chemist who all he does 8 hours a day is analysis of the plants that are being grown to determine how epigenetic factors influence chemotypic expression. And with that, then we have the ability to duplicate those conditions and go, okay, constantly this is going to be approximately this much of this constituent, approximately this much of this constituent, approximately this much of this constituent, and the patient knows that when they get this combination, this is the effect they have had. Even if someone else gets a different effect from that, they will still be able to know, that other person will be able to know that then what they need to do to get that effect is get the profile that on the package or online, this is what it says about this. This is the one that works for me. My hyperspasticity reacts to this range of constituents. His hyperspasticity is treated as benefit from that range of constituents. But the kind of research it's going to take to do that involves starting out with uniform testing protocols so that we're comparing apples to apples, given to an enormous number of patients who have voluntarily gone through gene sequencing and biochemical workups so that they know, we can know what the differences are and what the similarities are, so that in 5 or 10 years after research like that starts, you could go to your doctor and the doctor would look and go, oh, well, you're of this genotype, you're of this biochemical type. You might want to try this for your hyperspasticity. People with that biochemistry have been reporting pretty good success with that group and that range of chemical constituents. So, yeah, it can be, but it's going to for it to be able to do that with naturally grown plants rather than mixing to the recipes is really going to take a lot. It's going to take proper research being conducted large scale systematically.
It's also depending on, end game goal, because it's going to be testing. Testing is going to get intense. So there's going to be, whenever there's a synthetic version of anything that gets actually good to the point where people can actually say that it would work. Because that's the thing. Cannabis is really hard to synthesize in any format that's like enjoyable for anybody. Like if you do the Marinol test back in the day, that it was THC that they produced and they did it in a lab, and it was not very. People would get it, and it wasn't like never a fun high. It wasn't like oh yeah, let's do it. And it never caught on, obviously, because it didn't work. And
well, it's
because
like
none of the molecules were tied to anything else.
It's like.
Go ahead.
Sorry. It's like trying to drive down the street with the steering wheel and the rear axle.
And an engine, but no
You're
frame,
the rest of the car.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, because they were just trying to go for the single molecule thing, and that's the problem where we're at right now. So like everything is single molecule orientated. So in a way, it sucks because you don't really want them to separate down to the point where they can actually break it down to CBD, CBN, CBD, which they're going to do anyway. So if they do it naturally, it's one thing, but if they start doing it synthetically, which is totally possible, because I mean, there's so much to be made when people look at the market now, because it's a legal market, whereas before it was, what's the point? So, and they haven't even, because CBD is getting so much attention right now, like THC is also legal in all these places. So that's going to be the bigger, there's going to be some, big things going in both directions, I think, but that's not including hemp. That's not including, it's an endless.
Well, and then too, one of the other crazy thing is, like, let's say that they do go to the whole fractioning thing. What I'm hearing is, obviously you guys have been hearing about the FDA sending out all these cease and desist letters to these CBD mom and pop companies that are or are not putting the claimed amount of CBD into their product after lab testing. Well, what I was just talking to, and I'm sure that this is 101 for you guys, is some of these CBD isolates, when not emulsified correctly in and or added to a proper storage agent, completely dissipate, and they're already basically singular molecular compounds, so they become virtually untraceable. And I don't know, have you guys heard about that? So I've, obviously the FDA is sending out a lot of these different letters and cease and desist because they're going out, buying products off of the shelf, testing them for their claimed amount.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's a lot of these people that are claiming, hey, I actually did, and I can verify that I put this proper isolate of CBD into my product, but it virtually vanishes on the shelf while it's just sitting there.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That I did actually hear about. Yeah, and that's like in the water products and stuff like that, which is like, okay, it's total hype anyway, because putting that small amount of CBD into, like, in a soluble form into water, it's laughable as far as the amount, like it's 0.006 milligrams, something, and then it's in the light and it's in a clear bottle, so it's literally useless.
Right.
Yeah, and that's just common sense also, because any cannabinoid product, I think you want to keep it in a dark glass, or
right,
like if you would with any.
So that creates a whole new issue. Like if they did go to CBD, CBG, CBV, CBC, CPN, whatever it may be, is all of those are going to have their own individual storage issues.
Yeah. Well, probably.
Man, it's a whole can of worms.
It is, because it's literally things that come off at different temperatures and different consistencies and humidities and things like that. So that's how they're made in the first place. And now all of a sudden, you got to store them in those little ways to make them.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. But yeah, so that was just, I've been, because Wolf, I mean, you and I talk regularly, and I fully agree with everything you're talking about with CBG and the whole path. I think it's amazing, and I'm kind of on the path as well. And then I start thinking about fractioning it back out and stabilization and a lot of these different issues that can create further regulation. And I am always trying to get ahead of regulation and be as due diligent as I possibly can. So, it's just putting the binoculars on into the industry, right?
Did you catch that, Wolf?
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm here. I'm having my phone is like sliding in and out of being fuzzy. So
I thought there was a hesitation.
kind of like my brain half the time.
Dude, I
If
know.
I can get this to.
Yeah, bro. And speaking of, sorry I didn't get back to you super quick at the end of last week. I was straight down for the count. My daughter was super sick, and so was my son, and me and my wife were down. And
Oh my God.
yeah, it's been that whole family house sickness thing. That time of year.
And now you're here.
And now we're here.
And I'm a little bit sick. It's like, oh my God, here we go. It's going down. People are watching it live on the air. Watching me get the family flu. Better not get it. Oh.
Yeah, especially if you got little ones. Literally, my daughter's been.
Oh my God, you've nailed you've nailed my coffin now. Especially if you don't have little ones. Okay, well there you go. So, what's going on, James? You still there? Or we lost you now?
Oh, no, I'm still here. I'm just talking to people and looking at my sales page.
Talking to people?
I got some super sales.
All right, do some super sales. Because what I want to do is I want to break into a shout-out thing, and then that'll give me a chance to do that little break-off, and I can start with you instead of finish with you, because normally I do seats here now last, and here we are, all hanging out. So I figure we do your blowout sales, and then we'll move from there, and I'll do my normal ones, and then that'll get so everyone can move on. We got another about 45 minutes anyway, so perfect timing.
Cool.
So let's bang that out with your sales first of all, because that's people they want to know.
Right.
They want to know. People want to know.
My forms. Check out my forums. I do appreciate that. So it's March Madness. We're known for our March Madness deals. It's a good time for everybody to load up on seeds and gear and whatnot and get ready for planting in April. So we always do crazy stuff. But compound genetics, and when I say, so it's not individual strains here and there. When I say these deals, I'm talking about the whole deals. Everything they got, everything they carry, all the
whole deal and nothing
so
else.
compound genetics, Motor Rebel, Only Seeds, and Unity Seeds, all 25% off.
Killing it.
Subtug, Unknown Profit, Microsec, Keith Sweat, Riot Seeds, and Snow High, all 20% off. Relentless, Swamp Boys, Dominion, Canorado, Crockett, all 15% off.
Oh, now we're getting low.
Lucky Dog Seed, all 10% off. Ethos, buy 2 packs of Ethos, get 1 free pack from us, distributors' choice. And that's it. That's what we got.
That's what we got
pretty big
this week. And then
individual strains now, a whole bunch of this and that. It's big numbers on entire line.
all right.
Nice.
And then what show is you going to be? You're going to be tomorrow, or is that today? What's going on? What day is it today? Is it today the 2nd?
Today, March Madness.
No, tomorrow. You guys are at the show in Oklahoma. Who's doing that? What's going on with that?
Oh, yeah. So tomorrow we've got Oklahoma. Second time, first time I've been out there. Dunn was out there earlier this year. Had a good time. So we got the early jump on a nice show out there. My guys, Rob and Justin, my original first sales guys, will be out there. Stop by and say hi to them. They've got some really good deals. They'll have all the gear there, exotic and Crockett, of course, and all the stuff they have with them. So stop by and say hi to those guys.
Sweet. And then what else we got coming up after that? Any other big shows? Or we're going on a European tour. So
I'm barely. Sorry.
what?
We'll have we've got Boston, of course, March for CannaCon, and then April will be another big show in Oklahoma for 419 and 420.
Oh,
I will be. You've got an invite too, Dunn, as well. But I will be in Denver for the Dude Grows tournament on Judge as April 13th. Of course, you're welcome to come hang out with me and Duke. I'm sure they wanted you to come as well. Who's going to invite you? But I guess I just invited you, so sorry, buddy.
There you go. Sorry.
You're welcome to come.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hang out.
No problem. We'll see. We'll see if we can. I have no idea where my life's going right now.
Yeah, so you guys. But
I have no idea.
The chat room. Thanks for having me on about the forums. I talked about the forums about a month ago, and somebody's like, that'll never work. And I was like, oh, you're you're right. Let me that will never work. Let me just forget about. I even said anything. Just forget about all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because I was like, well, let me just finish the damn thing and then put it up, and then it'll work. So I appreciate the motivation. I appreciate the chat gang. Of course, everybody.
No, I already said that sounds like a whole lot of homework for me.
Build the soil. He's got good stuff.
Yeah. That sounded like a whole lot of homework to me. I was like, oh man, look, I got to do what now? I got to who? Chat? For what? Pictures?
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, what are you talking about? So I'm just going to be like this.
All right.
The unknown.
Cool, guys. So thank you very much. You guys have a great show, and I'll talk to you soon.
Some unknown grower. Oh my God. Start my whole life again. So, cool. Well, let's break off from mute. I'm going to do the. We're going to go real reverse? That's like hard. How would we do that?
Do you want to go real reverse, or do you want to just start from the beginning?
Do we start from the beginning or we go real reverse?
It's up
I
to
don't
you,
know.
man.
That's tough. Oh, who's this?
All right, you there?
Yeah, I am here actually. What's going on? You hear me? But I don't hear. What? Who's that?
I don't know.
Actually, you're taking a dab, and you're pretty far away from the phone, and I
Oh,
can
that's
hear
an
you
old.
very well.
That's my old. That's a show.
Very
Who's-
nice.
What's going on with that? That's weird.
That is weird.
That was literally the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. My neck hurts today. It's like, oh.
Dude, I had the same thing.
And I had it
This morning.
I had it this show, 2 shows before. It's wacky. Anyway,
I straight
don't
up
know.
went and got a
Full
massage this
reverse.
morning, bro.
I wish I did. First reverse. I did a little bit. I got a little bit. First, full reverse or no?
It's
up to
your
me.
call, man. Just,
I don't know if I can handle.
we'll start at New Millennium.
No, we're doing full reverse.
We're going full
Wow.
reverse.
Wallacewild.com.
No.
No, see, I failed already.
You failed already, man.
I knew
That's
it.
why we just,
I should've started
do what
from
we
the
know, man. But
knew it. It was like pulling a car in reverse.
if you want to go in
For the
full
first time.
reverse, then we're
No.
going to go greenfarms.co.
Oh, see, I knew that would happen.
Yeah.
Because that always kind of throws me off anyway, because it was they're our latest.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. We'll give them the double. We'll give them the double deal
There we go.
because we're talking about them now. Because we love them so much, we're talking about it again when we go in the right order. But we'll start with New. No, we can't do New Millennium. No, yeah, New Millennium.
Do you want to go? What do you want to do? 'Cause I'm here on Green Farms, but we can go to
forgot it was
wherever you
new.
want to go.
I forgot it was. I'm so spaced. So. I forgot that it was not even new. All right, New Millennium Nutrients, which is our boys. Going to be talking to them on Thursday. We'll figure out a schedule for the other guys. Yeah, they're killing the game right now. People are starting to get lots of good results and steady. And
Probably have been, too.
They have
Have
been,
been.
and
Have
that's what I'm saying. Like they're getting not just starting to get results, but they're getting to the point where it's like consistency is there, and it's value for money, and that's kind of the point of growing anything on scale. Again, like we were kind of talking about earlier, like the bigger you grow, the more it counts for every little penny here and there because prices coming down and narrowing. It's just very common sense shit. But when you're growing on a small scale, it's also sometimes pain in the ass if it's like you don't have that easy to follow sort of formula, and this works well in like both situations because it's kind of like food on the run, but at the same time it's for most people like a good solid, especially with flavor, because a lot of people like I've seen people like use it for a while and then try this sometime, and then I see them going, dude, I'm going back because they just want that flavor again. The flavor is really good, important. Just like this was grown with New Millennium, and like I cracked it out, and it's like bam, like
It was like instantaneously. As soon as you opened that jar, I was like, "Oh, that smells good."
yeah, yeah. And it was like, and that's been sitting for a while, so it's like finally getting its legs, and New Millennium Nutrients.com if you want to check out their full line online, but if you want to check them out, I think they'll even give you the extra Dunn deal, which I forgot to say. That was the other thing. I'm getting harassed for not enough Dunn deals. So I want more Dunn deals.
Yeah, if you're buying stuff from our sponsors, then make sure you let them know that you're using the Dunn deal.
Because that's important to me. So I need that.
That is huge
Because-
for us. It helps the show come along. And
Yeah, I couldn't get any more easier because we used to do the ADS 420 deal, and that's just kind of like, dude, too many 420s now. 420s for everything. So
Yep.
Just done deal. It's real simple.
Done deal. Everywhere.
Done deal.
So you're saying that New Millennium does that?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All of them do. And that's the thing is I'm having another meeting with them just to sort of seal the done deal. and say, like, we're doing this, right? 100%, which they are. And we haven't figured out what it is,
Okay.
of course. But if you go to newmillenniumnitrons.com and you do say done deal, I guarantee you, they'll be like, okay. So who we got coming in now?
I don't know. Do you want to answer it?
It's not, oh, it is on yours? So is this how we're doing it? This is how we roll now?
This is what we're doing right now.
Okay.
I mean, we can try. The computer's been on this whole time.
I know, I'm pretty scared.
I'm scared, though.
No, let's
Hello.
Yo, who we got now?
Hey, this is Into Canada from Canada and Home Depot.
Oh, yeah. You're not still
nice.
at home. You're not still in Home Depot. Are you back in Home Depot? That'd be cool.
I'm back.
Are you? Nice.
I'm back.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
I wanted to do the plug for Wallace Wow.
Oh, awesome. Let's
You
do
called
it.
in right on. Well, actually, no.
Nah,
we're not doing
no,
it.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do
let's
it.
go
We're
for
going
it.
all over the place today.
We're switching
Okay.
it up
We're
right
switching
here.
it up.
So I grow organically also, and I'm from Canada. And what's great about Wallace Wow is he even ships out to Canada too if you send him an email also. So I've hit him up already for the Wow Premium Mycorrhizal Inoculants, and it's got some of the best quality out there. It's got 3-year shelf life, over 400 total propagules, which I guess is more than most other mycorrhizal inoculants out in the market.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, I also got kelp meal and the fulvic acid, and the fulvic acid is basically this really potent stuff. So I think any organic gardener should kind of buy those products.
Bam.
Awesome.
WallaceWow.com from the Home Depot guy. I mean, that's even how
The
good
Home
is that
Depot
get?
guy.
So basically, you're back. What are you getting? I mean, because last time it was kind of.
I'm not at Home Depot right now, but I just wanted to.
Come on, you got to call
give
from
them a
Home
shout out.
Depot. But when you go to Home Depot, and it's the right time.
Wear orange.
Wear orange and try to go around the show time so you can like call in because that'd be cool. If you called in from Home Depot every time you're at Home Depot and you timed it right, because I mean we should be open when home. Cause like we're open.
Yeah,
It
I'll
depends.
make a video and then I'll have to do a.
Just keep it like
We're open during
for
Home
the
Depot
show.
hours.
keep it regular, keep it relevant. You can do one sponsor a week. I
Keep
don't
it
mind.
calm.
I don't mind if you time it right.
Blend in.
You just have to know when you have to go to Home Depot. Just be like, oh shit, I should go to Home Depot, and be like, well, I'll wait until I'm on the right time on a Friday, and I'll be like, bam, every time I'll be like, dude, this is like amazing, and they'll be like, this guy's on. I mean, probably the best call in ever at that point. If you like every week timed it right. Anyway, but now you are Home Depot, man. Anyway, as far as did you change that as your name on anything?
Yeah.
Good.
Also,
Yeah.
I was listening to the show. Yeah. I was listening to the show a few weeks ago, and you had, I guess, who you were talking to about, I guess, the Hawaiian sativa that bleeds red and stuff. And you actually had Bodie on, as an interview a year or so ago, but he had brought up his own strain, and I'm growing that out at the moment, the Dragon's Blood hash plant.
Yeah, and did you do that?
It's Dragon's Blood or F4 that he crossed with the GG13, 88 GG13.
Yeah, right. That's
Or G13 hash plant.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just excited to be growing that out right now and stuff. So I just want to refresh the old memory, I guess, that Bodie's got a pretty kick-ass strain going on with the blood red trait. I remember that.
And I mean, the thing is, it's one of those ones where it's interesting if you get a strain that actually does it all the time, of course. But it does pop up here and there, which is weird too. So it's like one of those. Is that a recessive thing, or is it just a lot of sugar? Maybe
Yeah,
it can be certain like over. Just depending what you're feeding them. Like all of a sudden, just like wow, put like that much molasses in there. I see what's going on now, and your plants seem to be bleeding. There you go. Well, it's like, and that is sometimes an issue.
Are you talking about the sap thing, where it
When
like
you-
saps?
No, not the sap thing. So
Yeah.
well, that also does it sap like at the end? You mean when it's like on a bud? You're talking about too?
And the color as well.
Yeah, it's a deep red color.
Deep red.
Deep red.
Deep red. He's scratching his
What shade of deep
beard
red?
of a beard. His barely a beard. I can't turn my neck today. It's like, I feel
like a quick plug. I have like a video of me like just cutting off a limb on my Instagram on Into Canada. If you want to check out that, but
Nice.
yeah, it's just pretty cool. You just snip off a leaf or anything, and you'll just see like this blood drip kind of, and it almost stains like bloodwood a bit, but I guess it washes off a little bit better.
interesting.
I
And
have
so and no sort of background of a THC kind of vibe to it or anything like that. It was just like purely sappy? Is it collectible?
You kind of cut off there a bit, but you
Oh.
say is it traceable?
Sort of like collectible. Can you like collect a little bit of it, like enough to take a little test or whatever and see what's in there? Because it sounds like one of those things where it's obviously not.
Yeah,
really,
well, I guess someone reached out to me about that because I guess people do in general just take samples of the sugar that kind of comes out of a plant or something. So he was kind of interested to do that test on the dragon's blood for that reason.
Yeah, you should get run with that. That sounds awesome. Because those are like weird anomalies.
Yeah.
Those are like weird anomalies that are worth investigating all the little angles. Because, again, like we were talking about earlier, maybe it's like some weird CBG like late thing or some CBN thing. Maybe which would be even better. Because right now CBN is the next thing that everybody wants, which is really weird. Because you're all like, isn't that like old stanky weed like VLCBN, like the worst of the worst? You know what I mean? In a way, we were going like from the best down in a spiral in a weird way where it's like, okay, now the worst is the best and the best is the worst, and you're like, oh no, this is
totally backwards.
Yeah, it's getting bizarre.
Right. I feel like it's got to bring something to the table, but exactly that. Who knows what?
Yeah, no, that's something I would definitely move forward on that.
I happen to have actually both a female and a male that both have the red blood trait. And
awesome.
I'm pollinating one of my females right now. It's the meat breath by Thug Bug Genetics. Gets a little spoiler to people who don't know who follow my feed, but I'm kind of wondering. I guess I don't know until I try. But how long do you think it'll even be till I get that trait carried over to another line? Unless I'm using like the dragon's blood female, which I'm not.
I don't know. That's interesting. That's an interesting thing. I know for sure that you'll get more of whatever that is flavor for sure. Like that'll be the kind of like that'll mute the flavor of the other one usually, which is like unless that's some weird result. That's usually that's like 90% of the time like that. So you'll get that, and then structure wise, that can go kind of both ways. Structure and then I don't know about this. I have no idea about the end. That's the end.
Yeah,
the rest of it gets kind of weird. Like when you start, most people aren't looking at the sap color so much because that's not a thing. You know what I mean? So that's
true.
That's again, I'd get on that more than I'd get on, or just get a profile of the whole plant and then compare that to that and see where that stuff fits within that sort of mapping.
Does it do it throughout the entire plant's life, like even in veg?
In veg, it's almost more. You'll get the red blood trait when it's not so woody. So once the plant has gotten a bit woody in areas and you cut it, then it's more like a stem kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you actually get it on, if it's a fresh limb, it'll bleed like blood red, like even in veg first few weeks.
That's crazy.
That's pretty awesome. And that's the cool part about that is
I topped the plant, and that's what happened when I did it. Like only the first 2 weeks of veg, and that's when I noticed. I was like, oh crap.
And what was that again? Origin?
Oh, I said I just topped the plant.
Yeah, but what origin? What was the origin again?
It's the.
I know. I remember it was Bodhi. Okay, I remember it was the Bodhi. I remember it was Bodhi.
Dragon's Blood F4.
Yep. It was the Bodhi combo there. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a super cool trait. I like anything that's like I was talking about earlier. The Stinky Pinky on the island of St. Croix, they've been growing it for like 10 or 12 years or something like that, and it's somebody. So it's like, oh, somebody with Amsterdam. It's like it's like yeah, okay, well, but that's been a while, and pretty much it just liked the climate. It could deal with the humidity, and it didn't really yield huge, but it had really really good smell, and it had purple. It had the right pink pistils that looked weird, and everybody could identify it. So once they knew it, they'd be like, "Oh, that's that," and got passed around the island, and everybody kind of held on to it, and now it's like all of a sudden the thing, which is cool. So it's like one of those deals where you walk around, and then the guy came and gave it to me in the bar. You missed the show. I had to have to reiterate the story for Tate, but yeah, no, it was good. It was good knowing in the long run that. So the same thing with that. If you have a plant that bleeds, and you have a male and a female, and you can actually figure out which way it's going to be, because it could be either way. It could be actually when you cross those two that have the blood thing, you might only get 25% do that, you know what I mean, or even less. Who knows? Because it could be just something that weird. But at the same time, it sounds like a knot if it's a dragon's blood put across or something like that. You're like, yeah, it probably has that. That's probably a trait that comes out a lot. So chances are it's going to be more. So you'll end up with like just maybe having to work. But you may even like you can imagine if you only had like one seed of each, then you may might actually get a a plant that doesn't do it. Or if you have 10,000, you're definitely.
Well, that's how Bodhi, I think, like started his dragon's bloodline that way. I think it was that he found 1 out of 30 something sativas, Hawaiian sativas, and one of them had the trait, and then he kind of F2 did and F3 didn't, got to the point where it was more or less he got like a roughly 50% chance, I think, now that it's red trait. But I think for his own reasoning, he didn't want to lock it in completely because he thought maybe it had more genetic expression if you didn't get that trait like every time. But
yeah, I mean, it's one of the. I don't know. I think it's. I mean, it would just be a cool thing to have because I like anything that's like traceable in some way, shape, or form. Where you're like, okay, definitely you can follow. Like sometimes it's just the shape of the gland or whatever, or seed. Sometimes the way it's not. And then a lot depending on how the guy grows it, if it's 4 foot tall or 12 foot tall or whatever.
I would just say there's not too many people that have ever selected for that. So whoever does select for it's definitely going to be able to like run with it,
Yeah, get on the blood train. Get on the
blood train.
Get on the blood train now.
Get that blood train head rolling.
And I guess I know the final question.
You're going to go from fucking the Home Depot to the fucking White House, my friend. You'll be shaking the hand. Because 2020 is going to all be about weed. We know that. It's like already going to be
THC all blown up again.
Yeah, well, just in general weed, like as far as like nobody's going to run unless they're running with weed. I mean, no one's going to get voted in.
I helped my uncle find some ducting equipment recently, so I'm kind of happy about that.
I would expect nothing less, of course, than ducting. Somewhere in this conversation, I had to hear the word ducting. I would have been like, didn't really feel like he was at the Home Depot very much, did it?
We didn't hear PVC glue and ducting and.
Well, yeah, usually I could like ask you where you are, what aisle are you in, and all that kind of shit. So that'll be our normal conversation, and it won't be so long, but it's okay. We can do a little, today we're doing like the extended version because we have guys in the studio, and he don't know. He's just like here to throw down and some knowledge in a sec, of course, but it's okay. We can talk to you.
Yeah. Last thing before I get going, I guess I'd have another strain too. It was pretty cool. It ended up having the triploid characteristic or trait where it has 3 leaves growing out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
or tri-leaf. I'm not sure. I guess it's hard to pin down exactly what you want to call it. But.
No. It is definitely you're more correct when you talk about triploids. But is it a male? It's a female. It's a female or male?
I don't know yet. It goes a bit slower than all the rest, it looks like. So, but either way,
how old is it?
Stoked about it. So I don't think it's likely, but it'd be sweet somehow if you could probably, somehow breed that trait in. But from what I've heard, it seems pretty unlikely.
It's actually really hard. It's actually really hard.
Like in theory, a male and a female, it might work. I don't know.
Yeah, and even then, it doesn't really work. So it's kind of a classic thing where it's like people are like, look, I got 2 of these, and I was like, yeah, okay, try it, and then you try it, and you're like, that's weird. But a lot of times they're not really fertile anyway. Like the males and the male pollen will be sterile, and the female won't recept, and they have a lot of weird things just because they're not supposed to be there in the first place. So when you work them with them, they're weird. They don't like to.
Yeah, it's definitely unusual, and it's got some of the OG-KB traits to it also, so it's kind of got that thrown into it.
Well, that always reminds me of, like, what was that stuff called again?
Oh, that's like
the fasciate. What is it?
Yeah, like that, yeah. Fasciated.
Fascia? What is it? I can't remember. I'm super high right now.
Yeah, we can look it up. We're both too high to figure it out, but you could send it to Face of Base. At gmail.com. Send it to him. You can put it up.
What is that thing called?
I can't remember. I'll head out now, but
all right, my friend.
wallswell.com, and if you're in Canada, send him an email because he doesn't ship from the website unless send him an email. So do it up.
No, I'm just saying, can you get that picture though?
Word up. Good luck with that ducting, bro. Keep crushing it.
Crush the ducting, bro. No.
Get an extra pair of gloves. Get an extra box of rubber gloves every time you're at Home Depot for that time that you need to cut clones or, bleach some trays or,
It's a good tip. That's a good tip. That's a good tip. And the thing is, when you go to Home Depot, it's like I was saying to everybody, when I go there, I don't fucking want to take a list. That's for sure. That'd be too hard, right? No, but I'll just go there and I'll have like one or two things I have to get, and fuck, I either buy way too much other shit and or don't buy what I wanted. But I definitely get home and I'm like, fuck. Now I know. Like I always need, so I always feel like I have to turn right back around, no matter what. The place is a fucking designed to fuck you up. So I applaud you for being there all the time, 24/7. Home Depot man.
That's how it was when I had my spot back in the day. I'd be at Lowe's like 4 times a day. It was ridiculous.
Peace out. I'll be talking to you soon, right?
All right, cheers.
All right, peace. Right at 7:10, bro, on the phone when I hung up.
Nice, dude.
I'm
looking for that picture.
Yeah, you're trying to. I was thinking it shouldn't be that hard.
Oh yeah, fasciation.
Fasciation. Yeah, fasciation.
Finally, fasciation.
There we go.
There you go. Boom.
I was like, trying to pull it out of the back of my memory.
And
Super high
now
and tired.
it is on the screen.
Fasciation.
Yeah, it looks like it's like you get it every so often, and the hemp it's out
Do you
there.
think you could breed for that?
No, you don't want to. It's weird. It's like
What about for hemp? For like these guys that are like, I want to do some fiber, and it's cool. I support it.
But the thing is that the stems are weird. Everything's weird with those plants. Sometimes you get those. You ever had those flat ones?
It was, dude. Literally saw these stems that were like 8 inches wide, all the way from the base up, and just completely flat, and they'd like twist and like branch off.
Yeah,
like what the fuck is that?
Right. So they're definitely interesting, but at the same time, they're not correct.
Dude, they have weight on them though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to. We didn't really like. I don't know. I need to go back and look at our testing, but I wonder how, because we only found like 2 of them out of 60,000 seats.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. They're definitely not the most common.
They're not common. But
Do you want to continue on our shout out tour here?
Sorry, I see that's what we're gonna happen. We're gonna go backwards on the shout out tour at 7:10. You're like, fuck, I was doing something, bro.
Okay, so we did Wallace Wow. We did.
We did Wallace Wow.
Yeah,
we did Home Depot.
See, that's why we got fucked up.
We got all messed up.
I know. Home Depot man took us to a ride.
Yeah, he did.
Home Depot's sales just skyrocketed.
Home Depot man.
So do we want to go
if
back
Home
to
Depot man becomes famous because of the Adam Dunn show, then the Adam Dunn show becomes famous, right? So it would be like,
yeah, totally.
This guy Home Depot man is blowing up. Everybody's like, what's up with Home Depot man? How did he get that name? I don't know. Started on the Adam Dunn show.
Yep.
Did we ever do Green Farms?
No, it comes around.
I don't think we did.
No, he's coming around.
Is that what we're doing
He's getting 3 Green Farms. Green Farms. 5, 6, 7, 8.
3, 5.
Green Farm.
All right, here we go.
Green Farm. All right. I did New Millennium.
We already did them.
Then we did
Wallace.
Because we didn't do Incredibles.
I know. No, I know.
And theoretically, I mean, they just almost bought you a computer yesterday. No, they found they were sending checks to the wrong address. To the Welton.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
So I just found out today. So I was like,
"That's hilarious."
No one loves me anymore.
Oh no!
Thought all my sponsors were like ditching me.
That's so funny.
No, I actually just didn't check the right mailbox.
Well, I don't have a key to that no
great
more.
stuff.
I don't have a key to that. So anyway.
That's funny stuff.
I wonder what's even there.
Oh my god.
They're like, hey, you showed up finally.
Anyway.
All right,
Story
Green
of my
Farms?
life. No.
No, we're going to Incredibles. All right, man, I'm all messed up. So you take it from here. Incredibles is on the screen. You can talk about whatever you want.
Worst shout out ever. Well, the best, actually, because they take the longest. And the best thing about shout outs, I think, is the shout outs. And then people keep asking me to make commercials and do all this bullshit. It's too much work, dude.
Well, the commercials would be less work because you could throw them and then you could do a dab.
Too much work, bro. So instead, we're going to do this each week because I think this is way more fun. And
Of course.
Just like that, Incredibles are the most fun and less work, bro. If you ever make your own edibles, they're fucking.
It's a pain in the ass.
It's fun,
especially all the way
It's
from the
fun.
plant.
It's fun when you do it the first couple of times because you're like, "Whoa, I'm gonna get so high, I'm gonna get so high," and then you get so high, and then you're like, "Oh, dude, I'll never do that again."
And then you have like an entire half of your refrigerator full of butter and all this shit.
yeah,
Like,
it tastes like everywhere. It's like
and it doesn't taste as good as
No. Incredibles.
Incredibles.
Never tastes
So
as good.
just come grab some Incredibles.
Yeah, and they're just steady. The thing is, they're steady, consistent. They use their own product. They know what they're doing. They know what their dosages are. They write it on the fucking thing. You can see it. You're like, oh, that's how much that is. Oh, okay. How much is this piece? Oh, great. And then every little thing is labeled because it's Colorado and it's a fucking anal place. And they make sure you have everything in check, or you're not allowed to fucking have your shit on the shelf. And their shit's been on the shelf long time.
Very long time.
Long time.
very, very long time.
Long time.
And in general, though, the Incredibles guys are on point, and they're gonna. I tried to have my original. I mean, not that original, because you know how quick. Do you know how long I fucking work on this show, bro? I work so hard. You don't even know. You don't know how much I work. What are y'all laughing at?
What, like the 15 minutes before the show, or what?
No, it was yesterday, of course. No, well, yesterday, of course, I tried to have Derek come on the show because it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a minute.
And then the weird part is, in my mind, I said, "I'm gonna have Derek on the show." Boom, and then all of a sudden, I get information from KTI hit me up and he goes, because I was like, dude, Incredibles, what's going on? They don't like us anymore. They don't give us checks. And I made fun of and I made fun of Bob at the show, and I was being all dick. We didn't get nothing, but they were actually sending the check the whole time.
Oh, that's funny, man.
And then we weren't getting it, and they just don't. I'm sure they don't notice if somebody doesn't. I don't notice if somebody doesn't cash a check too quick.
Yeah, it matters.
Of course I do.
I do.
I will notice everything. Ding. No, just kidding. But if you do get to a point like they've got to probably pay rules and all sorts of bullshit.
Right.
So
yeah.
Anyway, those guys are awesome. So they were always paying. I was just a dick and didn't ever tell them what to do. I just figured that out today. So, anyways, Incredibles edibles is the best shit on the market. Has been, and I never stopped advertising though, right? See, I'm dedicated.
No. Yeah, it kept going.
I had the faith. I was like, yeah, there's no way they're not paying. This is weird. But anyway, they're the shit. Always have been, and they have the best as far as Colorado. They got it covered, but they also got Nevada. They got. Tell me where they got, because I can never remember, dude. Can you see?
What are we doing?
Where they are? I never know where they are.
Oh,
I saw
they took that banner off.
Nowhere now.
They took off the "Where to Get Us" banner.
So
that'd be kind of rough.
Store locator. Let me look and see if it does something here.
Might as well work a little bit. Anyway, most consistent shit. Best. They got a great website. So just go to iloveincredibles.com.
Yeah.
You can look for yourself, so we don't have to scramble trying to figure out where the hell they are. But we know
I actually ate an Incredibles this last weekend. I'm serious. I had the
everywhere that has a green dot.
The mint chocolate,
right
mint chocolate
in the world.
In the world, right there.
Something like
That's where they're at.
I can't remember.
No, I don't see anything. Is it there?
No, you don't.
Anyway, there are a lot of places.
Illinois.
Oh, here we go. We got something.
Well, I'm just scrolling through the map here. Colorado, Oregon.
Oh, they're everywhere.
I know they're up by Vail. I was just
California,
up there.
Las Vegas.
See, there's a lot of places. That's I could never know that. Now I know. Because before I was kind of like, yeah, and then I was like, wait a minute, they're not. They're not in Puerto Rico.
No.
Damn
I thought that they were.
Puerto Rico's so new.
It used to say it on the banner. I know that.
It did.
Yeah.
Something went down. Anyway, we'll find out.
So yeah, California, Las Vegas, Oregon, Colorado, and Illinois.
Sweet.
That's what we got.
iloveincredibles.com once again, and I'm going to try to get Derek on the show again. And it was just weird. It was like one of those cosmic things where I tried to get him on the show, thought about it, got the message. I was like, oh, man. Because I was going to have him on the show even thinking that they hadn't paid me a month. I was that kind of guy. I was like, maybe if I get Derek on the show, that'll make him think, hey, we haven't paid Adam in a while. and then magically it happens. So.
Shit, just keep going.
Okay.
Anyway. It was magic, dude. It was magic, bro.
So are we doing Build a Soil then?
Yeah, well, we'll do a little bit.
Good old Jeremy.
Right. Jeremy was on the show
Build
today.
a Soil.
Hey, congratulations, Jeremy. on his upcoming wedding now.
Yeah, we had a good little segment.
Nice.
You can rewind and check it out, or check it out after this. It's at the beginning if you missed it.
Yes, sir. And it's
Oh, he already got married?
No, he did
What happened? Sorry, I missed it.
Oh no, I was just saying that we had a good segment with him earlier.
He
Oh,
actually
okay.
he
Yeah.
actually
Sorry.
announced he
My
was
bad.
going to get married.
Oh, that's tight.
He announced his
Damn,
marriage.
it was on the
Congrats,
Adam Dunn
bro.
show. He got married on the Adam Dunn show. You missed it, bro.
Congrats.
Yeah.
You didn't know?
It's a whole path, dude.
No, it is, and
It's good. It's good stuff.
it's for sure good stuff. And so we had Build a Soil, and when you go to Isla. Oh no, you go to I love Build a
I
Soil.
love Build a Soil.
Dude. No,
BuildASoil.com.
another dabs. What I
Good
need.
guy, yeah. What'd you give him?
You go to buildasoil.com, and you can also go to 855-877-SOIL. No teleprompter required, bro. Just in the brain, because I love that number. Because if I'm trapped in a car wreck, I'm probably going to remember that more than I'm going to remember my actual fucking home number. Be like, just call my friend Jeremy. There's 6 hours in the wrong direction of everything. So, because he's the only number I can remember. My wife can barely remember it. It's hard. Now, luckily, I get to use her number for shopping now, so I can actually remember. Like, oh, dude, that's the number. But yeah.
Whoa, man.
I know my mom's. I know a few other people, sort of. But it's tough days. Anyway, buildasoil.com. The man, as I say every week, everybody there is super cool, knows what's going on, and just like Jeremy said, everybody works there, grows, knows what's going on. It's not no bullshit. They can steer you in the right direction. They can get you from the ground, literally from the ground up, everything you need, and. Also doing large scale stuff. They got our buddy, 4 times now, Mr. Canapoo. He is like now he's 4 times. He's almost on the show.
He's a secret guest. We have to put his name on the show now, I think.
Secret. Oh, he's not quite there. I think he has to be like 6 or 8 of those to make the full guest.
I'm just kidding.
Secret guest. But now I'm almost talking about him again. Whew. All right. BuildASoil.com.
Yep. All right. Now on to greenfarms.co.
Oh my God, greenfarms.co 4 times .co.
Green Farms. Farms.
And yeah, so they got they got a lot going on. They have a big farm. They have a new farm that they're getting online too, which is going to be hemp and CBD, and they're just kind of jumping all. They're at that point now where some of their stuff's really tuned in, which is great because. What I saw in the beginning was like literally the first row and things just going on their first cycle, and it was good, but it was, it's different when you fill the whole room and start, feeling a different atmosphere, especially when you're trying to create an atmosphere, and the more soil you have and the more water it retains, and the more the lights kind of build that up, and you have to kind of get it to the right stability, and that's with that kind of growing, it's a little more work just because. It's not nothing until the plants get there, when the plants get there, all of a sudden the environment changes, and you got to tune it into that, not into growing with rock wool or growing with having just too much going on sometimes. So anyway, what am I doing? I'm
Green Farms.
Rasta worms. Yeah, Rasta worms, and just like we talked about earlier, all these. Building block materials like good source of worms, which they're growing, making their own worms, so have their own castings, things like that. Either doing that, also they have a grow shop, which is great. So if you're in the area, if you're in where the hell are they at now? Oh, Louisville, as they say.
Is it Louis or Louisville? Yeah, that's right. You say Louisville. Yeah, okay. I get confused now.
Now I got you confused. See,
I had it good until you came around.
Louisville. Louisville, yes. Which is next to Boulder. So that's why it's that, dude. They can't deal. They cannot deal with that. Organic focused with all those products, Buffalo and all the other mentioned ones on site there. You can pick them up right there if you live in the area. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting the Dunn deal. Everyone, Dunn deal. That's why no one does it because they never remember it. I'm so high all the time. I never remember nothing. Actually, not high enough is the problem right now. It's less high. Should be more high than it will be on.
Sickness always kicks you.
I was on point earlier when I was more high, but you should rewind it and you'll see that I was way.
Yeah, go ahead and rewind it.
Rewind it to the part where I'm actually good, and then you might. Right now, that's terrible right now.
All right. Greenfarms.co. Right on.
And I think there's a little green farm, because when I get on green farms, I gotta do another triple tangent on that one usually, and I forget exactly where I am.
All right.
It's the curse.
All right.
No.
That concludes shout-outs for the day.
No, is that it?
That's it.
Really? Oh no, and then I do treasure, of course.
Oh, treasure.
So yeah, I have to do that whole thing, which is important because I'm going to be. Guess where you're going to be?
Oh, a treasure.
Yeah, exactly. And how long is it going to be? 12 days.
Yep.
Not even. It's,
Yeah,
it's
12
getting so
days.
close. You're going to be scared in about 3 days.
About what?
Everything. Where's my passport? What am I doing? Oh my
Already
God,
have-
I lost it. I've had it right here.
No, I got it.
It's going to happen, dude.
I'm good.
Are you guys taking all the gear out there?
We're actually we sent out a sort of beacon of hope because the whole computer system shut down. And first I said, dude, if I'm putting out the word that I'll do a 6 month for $35 to buy him a new computer, which is $3,500, and I'll do 6 month sponsorship. So I put it out there as a sort of big like that's cheap, bro. That's like the cheapest sponsorship ever. And so that's probably going to happen because it's just the way life is. And that's my goal, to make his life good and make everyone actually have a show. Is just get a real computer because that thing is dying. So basically I said that and then bam, the whole thing went down to shit. And I was like, didn't plan it. Dude, that just happened.
Yeah, man.
So it's going to happen now.
Love
Anyway,
when that shit happens.
I love when that shit. So we've proven our point. It's not like we tried, but how many times have we shut down?
Well, 2 today. But, yeah, I don't know.
Two today. Okay, so there you go. That's what people want. They want to see consistent. They want to see terrible quality that doesn't actually break down. Is what they want to see. If they see the breaking down, it's like, oh, it's real now. I thought this was all staged. How bad it was, but you know,
Yeah.
we do our best to make it as unprofessional as possible. The shout-outs are done. Oh no, Treasure. So anyway, you're going for the first time to Europe.
Yeah, man. I'm
And,
excited.
You're not coming this year? What's going on?
I don't think I can go, dude.
God, it's only.
I don't think we're all.
We're gonna go. Dude.
I'm getting sucked to Europe by other people. I'm getting sucked to Puerto Rico by other people.
Oh, forget about it. You can go to Puerto Rico anytime.
I
When I get
know.
back, you can go.
I know, but I gotta go check out that one spot too, down there.
Where?
The other spot I was telling you about. He's down there right now.
Okay, that spot.
That spot.
Oh, that one. Anyway, the.
I don't like to talk about it on.
spot. Oh, that spot.
That spot.
No, I'm just kidding. So, Treasure, which is like 3 blocks from, who I also want to also talk about, because I mean, Treasure is my boy of Petey, and I tell every week, the Dunn deal is free entry, right?
Yeah.
And if you get any feedback, you talk to Peter, right? Because Peter's the man.
Yeah.
Now I have another Peter. They're both Greek. It's crazy. So I got like 2 Greek Peters. So I can't say Greek or Peter. Got to be something new.
Oh, that's
about
funny.
Can't use both.
You have to figure it
And
out.
they both are having little things going on 3 blocks from each other. But the good part is I'm involved in both things. So now it'll be we're gonna do multi shows. I don't know. It always depends on the internet quality.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we going to live or record?
We're gonna go we're gonna do a little mini ADSI, I think, but at the same time, it's all so fucking shady. Like literally, invitationals are like a dime a dozen now. Like I do an invitational. Oh, now everyone's got an invitation. I'm like, Jesus Christ! How many invitationals can you have? So even my ADSI is being hijacked. So. But people don't understand ours is very simple. It's it keeps it, because the problem is a lot of them I get real pissed off because they're just not thought out well. Now the problem is theirs is thought out really well, so I'm like, shit. The other Peter's got the super well organized thing. My other Peter has got the really cool shop, but I was going to do my little wanky danky thing over at my friend's shop, which I may have to just like do some sort of magic and combine ASI to the Terp Tower Invitational.
Terp Tower Invitational.
Yes, sir.
Huh.
Mr. Peter himself. Double Peter. I got 2 Peters. So Greek Peter. Just call him Greek Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other Greek Peter's running the other place, which is Treasure.
Sure.
And you go to Treasure BCN on Facebook. You can look them up.
Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of the artwork that they post on Instagram. And
Oh,
stuff.
the artwork's sick.
Yeah.
They got the best artists,
Totally
which are
dope.
all our friends.
Cool.
And when you're in Amsterdam, you're going to see a ton of that art because that is like those guys are all from Amsterdam. So they're all, well, not from. They all from like Italy, England, everywhere, but they all lived in Amsterdam and knew each other there. So
Yeah.
that was the gel,
Gotcha.
which has been broken. when you get there, we're gonna tell you all the sad. So you're gonna be like literally we're walking around like a museum. We'll be like, this used to be the coolest place in the world. Now it is a Dunkin' Donuts. You know, because there's a lot of that shit going on. Like most of the places that I liked are like no, like what? It's not there anymore. And it's like, dude, they closed that down. It was
That
fire hazard.
sucks.
Fire hazard. You know, you're like, oh yeah, that's why it was so cool because it was like just the most.
You could sit on the sketchy railing that you almost fell off.
Oh, bro. And a lot of them were squats and they were like underground and you couldn't. You know, now they're just like office buildings and stuff. So
Damn.
I'm getting ready for a lot
I
of
hate
disappointment, but at the same time, I'm very excited to go see old friends there and then show you.
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know we were going to Amsterdam, so that's pretty cool.
How cool is that?
Yeah,
See,
I'm stoked.
you're getting down the double dose.
Yeah.
So,
Double dose.
and yeah, Bob's going to be joining us. So we have Operation Adam Does Show going on, either live or recorded, but we're going to at least be in lots of little cool locations. So we're going to try to figure out once we get a new computer, because I mean that's like, you know, oh my God, just imagine like the best shot ever and the best show, and then didn't get the new computer like you thought. So putting it out there. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll find. Maybe I'll find that. But anyway, that is going to be our 12th to the 21st sort of time zone. So anything during those days, we're not going to follow that whole Friday schedule thing anymore. So if we have a good connection anywhere, we'll probably do a little like update. So people just have to start looking because, hey, you know, 24/7 Adam Dunn Show at that point. I don't give a fuck.
Well, if we upload to YouTube, they'll still get a notification, and you know what I mean.
I mean, I'm sure we can
It'll be fine.
we can be phone swag all the time, but whatever.
Phone swag.
There's going to be a bunch of happening.
Oh yeah, okay, I got you.
We're just going to be weird. That's all. I'm just saying because our time zones are going to be so weird and all that kind of stuff. So I might just throw some live shit up every so often. People, what? Because all of a sudden we got like the coolest spot, best connection in my friend's studio or something like that. And we're like, dude, we're doing an Avalanche show now.
Nice. Okay.
So it's the way it is. Once we hit the road, I don't drink anymore, so that'll just be my new rule. It'll just be like, instead of being like, I drink all the time, because that's usually when you're on the road. You're just like, oh, I'm on the road. I can drink now because it's cool because no one's watching me, and I'm not on anybody's time zone, right? So this will be my new version, but it will be when we're traveling. We'll just do the pop-up shows and scare people. No, why is he on at 3 a.m? Like, I don't know. It's fucking 2 p.m. here, but whatever, you know. So,
Because we can.
So we got like 15 minutes left. So let's do the Tate. Focus on Key to Life. What's going on?
Oh shit!
So we didn't have since we're finishing off the advertising. How long did that take? Like an hour?
Yeah, it took a long time, man.
That was the longest ever, I think.
Yeah, that was a really long shout out.
That was just the whole
with the Skype call in the middle and all that. Mm-hmm.
Do we? Oh yeah, bro, I forgot. No,
That's funny.
Thank you, Home Depot.
Thank you, Home Depot, man. This was brought to you by Home Depot, man.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. So, Tate, what's going down?
Dude, mad stuff right now. It's been crazy.
I think it's been like we were talking with Jeremy, like his expansion's gone like 3 times in a row. Bum, 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 and it keeps, and now looking at like, oh, and even more space, and because the scale is getting crazy, and it's I mean, your product's so good for that it's like, I'm sure it's like, okay, are you yet a victim of your own success? Are you getting close?
To be honest, it's funny because when you start the dream, you always wish about getting to the point where you get like these giant orders and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then they like start coming in and you're like, holy fuck. Mm-hmm. This is like way bigger than I ever even really expected. How the hell do I even produce this?
Right.
How do I actually logistically pull this off and, like deliver the product? And so it's been interesting. Yeah, we just expanded into the new warehouse and had to put up everything, and we're already basically to the point that we're docking soil and media to other companies and blah, blah, blah. So it's pretty crazy, you know. Those super plugs are just blowing up right now. Speaking of, if anybody needs germination or propagation plugs and stuff, you better get your orders in, whether it's your greenhouses, your seeds, your lights, your extractors, your fertilizers, your anything. I don't care what it is in the game. Make sure that you get your gear right now, so that way you're planned out. That way you're not running out of drip irrigation. You're not running out of plastic mulch. You know you got your electrician lined up. Make sure you have all of that stuff dialed in now, because if you don't, it's going to end up reflecting on the end yield harvest coming this upcoming October, you know? So that's my biggest recommendation, you know? Hit up the Jeremys if you need a ton of soil. Hit up, you know, the lighting companies and just start talking to them about the orders that you have, because some of the lead times that you can see is pretty crazy. Like, for example, most extractors, like, what are you hearing for extractor units on lead time?
Oh, they already
6
were
months to 12 months.
Easily, not easily. Yeah, 6 was like the bullshit, but you know, reality would be whatever the last part they tell you. If they say 6 to 12, it'll be 12. But if
whatever company comes out with a shorter lead time, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is it's right now, and all these shows keep coming up, and it's like you must see it must be backing up further and further, which is like the situation where, you know, we're gonna have like almost lawsuits coming out because people are going to put money on buildings and sit around for like they thought it was 9 months, they have it in contract, and all of a sudden it's
couldn't get their permit, couldn't get their license, blah, blah, blah.
Or the other way around, or they get all this, they pay for all the they get all the licensing and they can't do nothing because they put all that in specs, and you know what I mean. So kind of like there's going to be a lot of interesting like shakeups once again as the industry keeps growing, and like people kind of like keep looking on it like, oh, okay, well, you know, we're going to automate it even further, which kind of, again, as we kind of talked about earlier with the whole separation of down to the single molecule, makes it kind of like we're not really, as exciting as it is the first time you see it, it gets less exciting the more you see it, because you think like, oh, great, and then soon they're going to think they can recombine it in a better way than
Mother Nature did.
Then it works, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen it yet, really. Like, like so far, I'm like, no, not really. You know, where it's like, so in my opinion, like you can, you know, whenever you take like the just pure terps and you fucking put it in a pen, smoke that with somebody, and they're like, holy shit, that's awesome. And it's like, yep, it's not quite the highest THC because it's just the terps, but it still gets you really, really high, you know what I mean? And like in the sense,
and that's that like mobile, joyful experience, you know, which a pen shouldn't be all about like what.
Well, the problem is,
THC.
and the problem is that almost all of them are distillate, and then the distillate is just like, it's either flavorless or it's got some bullshit. You know what I mean? Because even if they put like full cannabis terps back on, unless they're really organically produced and somehow really at the right temperature and kept all those, because most of them just, it's very hard to capture like true sour diesel or true something OG or true anything that you can identify.
Yep.
Where you're like, oh, that's Durban poison for sure. You know what I mean? Oh, that's, you know, G13. Oh, yeah, for sure, I can taste that. Or that's, you know, anything that you're kind of familiar with as a plant, which, because of the structure of the plant, you kind of can identify, like, okay, that's definitely, we keep moving that. And then we've determined that that's dominant on the Afghan side or whatever agreed on style plant we have at that point. Then you got something to work with. But once you've extracted it, who knows what you fucking did to it? Like, temperature-wise, you might have fucked up.
Yep.
Pulled it too hot.
Just gets into an unnatural state, but
yeah, and then it's not really like you ever can like pull all the essences out at the same time. So I feel like the more
and in the same ratio that it was in the plant or whatever,
and get it back in, it's like no, it's almost impossible.
Yeah,
at this point in time.
Yeah,
but you know, people working on it, so it's like one of those. Hopefully, and I think it's going to be in the next 2 years. It's going to be cool the amount of.
Tons of innovation.
Innovation is going to come because
tons of innovation.
You know, it goes every year, like, you know, tenfold and whatever. It's like this with cannabis. It'll even be, well, I don't know. It'll be faster or slower. Will it be? Because it gets kind of crazy how quick things move. But I think like the cool part is that we haven't really like figured out the waste so much, and so when that gets to become part of the issue, which is like that's the best problem we'll have right now with cannabis, is that it's the biggest amount of waste, not the bad waste like as far as like fertilizers go, because that's not really ever good,
right.
But as far as waste when it comes to stems and, you know, roots and sort of like if you wanted the leaves, depending on the
like material from the bulk.
just in general, yeah, all of the bulk that comes off of the plant. So all of a sudden you got like, okay, here's a whole bunch of industry, and it's all starting to become at a cost where it's almost effective for the farmer to, take super cheap, but at the same time, all removed, and come in and get for specialized machinery to do all that. So you're kind of like, okay, this is
Specialized bulk machinery.
oh my god, you know all about that, don't you? so in general, you're creating all this industry that's like wasn't even there before, or just was kind of like you're just repurposing some of the stuff that's already been worked on. You got something to send them? Send it. Is that the background?
Put that up.
Put that
It's on
up,
my
bro.
IG page.
Oh man, put it up, bro.
It's like almost near the top. He was talking about bulk separating equipment.
Oh my god, he hit the nail on the head.
All right, continue. Right, sorry.
No, it's cool. And then so I mean, definitely the cool problem in the near future is going to be the hopefully most easily solved and not like retarded. Like right now, it's like doesn't make any sense with cannabis where you're like, okay, so if you have a facility here in Colorado, you have to like dissect all the stuff down to like either kitty litter or something that's non-smokable to break it all down when it's like product that's either bad or whatever, which is like, okay, if it's pure cannabis and it's like treated like it's fucking plutonium or something like that, it's like whereas it would be like better if they got like, another company used it for non-smokable, but again, like doesn't matter what part of the plant it is, it's usable for some point, so it's like
Is it just your newest post here? No? Oh, okay. It's near the top.
Sorry. Continue, Adam.
oh, continues, yes sir. Got it? You got it?
I think I have it right
Oh my God, he's got it. So, yeah, but the thing is like we can't compete. Like for instance, okay, they had that chipboard in fucking Canada, right? And they had like grown this plant, made this beautiful piece of chipboard, and then it was like, okay, so how much is it? And it was like 10 times the amount of a normal one. So you're like, oh, that ain't gonna, that doesn't ever sell. But that's also when Canada was, I mean, the biggest producer at that point is 1993 or something, 1994. And so there was nobody else that was producing enough to get to the point where they could actually even
Scale it.
Well, the thing is, they could do it, they could make it, but they were actually growing it to make it,
Right.
not growing something else, growing it to make something else.
To then have that be the waste
and
that
then
they
be going
used.
like, holy shit, I got mountains of this stuff. Oh, I can turn it into pressboard. Cool, I just made profit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas the other guys, that's what they were doing because they just cruise
Right.
around by the sawmills and pick up for free and just be like, all right, we'll take a ton of that, do it for free, go squish it up. So their input was zero, and then they created a product that they could make a profit on. So it was like, okay, that's going to be pretty hard to compete with. And then when you get companies that actually like are below them, who can't get to that point, and they have to actually buy stuff to then turn it into that, they probably charge more. And so you like, but they probably do a better job, And then all of a sudden you're in that category. But I think when we get to that point where there's so much hemp that you're like, oh shit, there's mountains of that, mountains of this, mountains
Right.
of that. You're like, oh, keep starting thinking of stuff. And
I'm running into dudes with like massive barns that are just stems and stalks from this last year after shucking and shit. And you're like, you still have it? And they're like, we don't know what to do with it.
We got what do we got going on here?
No, I played the video once through while you guys were talking.
Nice. Oh, I totally missed it.
Oh shit! Oh,
So this
shit.
is our new service. Oh,
No,
I don't
it's
know.
back. It's gone.
Is
Oh
it-
no, we're on a loopy doop.
oh, okay.
Wow, we talked about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you guys I was playing it.
Oh.
I can play it again. It's right here.
I don't know if, okay, so this is our incredible bulk hemp separator.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
gone.
So what this thing is for is separating CBD bud material from seeds from stems. Whoa, what is that noise?
That was on earlier. What is that? Is this house blowing up? Is there a ghost here again? Remember we had a ghost earlier.
It's just a fan.
It's a fan somewhere.
Ghost fan.
Turns off in a second.
Ghost fan. All right.
Ghost fan.
Dude, this place is
Sorry.
haunted, bro. I'm sure of it. 'Cause Travis is like, he's like so into ghosts. He is.
That's funny.
Travis loves ghosts.
It's been extra spooky for me because I've been the only one in here.
You're super spooked out,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Ooh, see that? It's
See?
over. Out of
As soon as I
nowhere.
said something, the
that was
fan
the ghost
stopped.
of the fan
That was
of the
it.
thing of the room.
All right.
The Weedworks.
All right, so we're playing this video clip.
Okay, tell us.
I
Bro,
think it actually.
it just keeps going over and over.
Incredible bulk hemp separator.
Incredible bulk hemp separator. Rawr. Okay, then what happens? What happens? What happens with it, bro? It just keeps
So,
flashing at us.
40-foot semi-tractor trailer, we run to your farm, and we help you separate your hemp. Holler at us for more detail.
Holla at us. Okay, wait, it's at, please. Wait, which one?
Key to life nutrients.
Just key to life all the time.
At Key to Life Nutrients.
Bam. Just keep it simple, stupid. That's the way to do it, bro.
Yep.
All one. Overwhelm your crew there. No, we getting so many. Are they getting out of blowing servers up and shit? Oh man,
dude, it's been actually. So we just booked our first job for the Incredible Bulk. I'm pretty pumped on it.
Incredible bulk.
And what's fun? It's going to be used for some feminized seeds.
Oh my god. Okay, where?
What a great time.
Yeah. So it's 40 foot. So you're gonna have it. It's so local, I assume, and you're gonna be driving to it. So it's not like gonna be. You're driving. This is what driving the 40-foot deal to it.
We deliver it to you to your whatever farm. So we just deliver it there. Yeah.
Cool.
It's cool stuff.
So that's local, I assume, then.
It's in Colorado now. It was in Oregon, and it finished what it had to do up there. So.
Yeah, so it's one of those. Oh, we lost it. What's going on? Did something happen? No?
What time are we rolling till today?
Right about now, almost. We're
okay.
Yeah, I don't know
because we started early.
It's just a loopy thing, so that's all it is.
I said, it's 7:30, it's 7:45. That's how we do. So
cool.
We did all the shout outs.
Thanks for having me on the show, brother.
You got 40-foot things that go crazy and eat stuff and shaky, knock,
jigga,
jigga,
toot, toot.
Squeak, squeak, block. Yeah, I seen the photo. I seen the picture. I know what's going on now. If you get that, then you get that. If not, you don't get.
That was the most technical term.
That was pretty much everything, and we said was exactly what happens.
Yeah.
I put a link to that video in the chat if anyone's interested.
Thanks. Oh, we did it.
Yeah.
Okay, link the video. Now throw up some sort of like I'm done show flag, swag. So we're gonna finish the show off, and then we have they know where they're at. So it's since they've seen all this scribble scrabble that we slapped together.
Scribble scrabble.
Yeah, we're technical around here, bro.
We're good.
We're tech.
Yeah, just throw the flag up. Throw
Thanks.
the flag up, and then we're gonna say, "No, peace, y'all. Relax." Now we're gonna do our double shout outs to everybody as far as crews and stuff. And
Okay.
we're slow around here.
Sorry.
We're like right on the money, but we're a little bit.
If
slow.
you got to roll, you got to roll. That's all.
Oh, you got to run. You're okay, man. You're good.
I'm right. Just trying to roll.
Oh no, okay, it's good. And he looks way more relaxed than you, though. That's the problem. So if he was all stressed out looking, I'd be all, dude. Okay, this guy's hurry up. So hurry up. All right. No, we're done. I missed that one. That one just happened a few times over. Okay, I got
just
you.
joking.
It's all good. So no, Tate. So Key to Life.
Thanks for having me.
You'll be. Yeah, we were in Key to Life Studios. So before it was like pretty much like obvious because we 24/7 at Key to Life Miners, right? So everyone knows that we're still all good. We just left the studio. We had swag.
I had shitty internet, unfortunately.
And there's more problems to this show.
And you know what's jacked up about that? For me to get better internet, I'd have to upgrade to Cat or T5 or whatever that whole crazy internet.
Get a whole.
And it would take 2 years and blah blah blah. CenturyLink was like our technology is going to develop faster than it would even take for us to put Cat 5 or whatever the hell it's called. And
it's at an airport. That's
and
crazy.
I'm done.
It's crazy. It's at an airport. And you're like, at an airport? See.
No, we're in a weird situation. I can't get Comcast.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, I called everybody under the sun for my internet.
It's just the weirdest thing because you're literally in an XCI building that's on a fucking runway at an airport and has shitty internet. You're like, this is the worst combo ever.
Well, that's why they left it in the 70s.
Yeah, they're like, we're out. Still on some old fucking thing going. Another room. You're like, wait a minute, all the stuff in the whole building is going through this thing.
Yeah, right.
So shout out to my beautiful wife Cece and Nick, who basically came back yesterday after a month of being on the road, which is always crazy. So I got to pick up him at school, which is awesome, and and get to sleep at 8 o'clock in the night with him and just be like, I am done. Like I was crashed out, so it was perfect.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's the best feeling.
And we got to do, obviously, wrestle. That was the most important thing in the world. Wrestle. So I was like, all right, cool. We're doing it at like 6, and we're going to do it for hours, and then I'm going to go to bed. Yeah. So then I woke up with a fucking hurt neck and wondering why. All of a sudden, I was like, no. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was probably the problem. I was like, it happened in the shower. And it was like, no, it happened then. And also shout out to Ace down at the farm. And we're going down this weekend. It's going to be like snow, mega snow. Mega snow. We're going to go trap ourselves at the house. So it's going to be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Basically drive through the snow, chew the snow, get trapped. You know, pretty much that's the plan.
Sweet.
That's good.
See you guys next week. Thanks for listening. And I don't know who we have next week, as usual. We'll figure it out 24 hours before, as usual.
15 minutes before.
You'll find out when I find out. You'll find out when I find out. Maybe one day. Oh, no, though. In a few weeks, I think actually when we go to Amsterdam, our new Amsterdam assistant sort of crew person is going to be coming in here. So we're going to be doing a little switcheroo, I think, for a week. But
Nice.
it's kind of funny. So she's going to come here, and now we're going to be so professional because Adam Dunn Show is going to be part of a college degree program where she's going to be doing her media, getting her doctorate, or I don't know what to fucking call it. We'll figure it all out. But anyway, she's going to be like, so we're going to be so pro, bro. We'll be the pros, you ever fucking
Pros, bros.
pros, bros ever. So we're going to know shows weeks ahead. We'll be able to talk about them. Advertise. It's going to be like, what? This is like real programming? Because that's what she's going for, is media shit, which makes sense because we don't know shit. So see you next week. Peace.
Peace out.
40 records being played on every radio station in the United States is a communication to the children to take a trip, to cop out, to groove. The psychedelic jackets on the record albums have their own hidden.
This is a special question. We don't want you to smoke the genetic motherfucking. We want you to smoke the real thing. One of them smoke the natural herb. Some call it marijuana, some call it sensimedia, some call it dance bread, and some people call it